Sports update powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. Vitor Pereira is backing himself to keep Forest in the Premier League, just as he did with Wolves last season. The Portuguese admits it's not easy, but he believes they can get points, results and quality in the remaining games. Next up for Forest, Fenerbahce away in the Europa Conference League playoffs. You can hear that live on talkSPORT 2 on Thursday. Leah Williamson returns to the Lionesses squad for the first time since last summer's Euros, ahead of facing Ukraine and Iceland in World Cup qualifying. Lauren James, Hannah Hampton and Alex Greenwood also return, while United midfielder Ella Toone misses out with a hip injury. Michael O'Neill has told talkSPORT his job share between Blackburn and Northern Ireland might sound a lot, but he insists it's doable. And by the way, 90% of his prep for the World Cup playoff with Italy is already done.
As an international manager, you're hoping and praying that your squad turns up fit and healthy and ready to play. So there's not a huge amount I can do between now and then that I haven't already done. And so I genuinely believe that being in the dugout is a positive thing for me.
Speaking of Blackburn, their Aussie defender Lewis Miller is out of the World Cup. He's got an Achilles injury. And speaking of Aussies being out of World Cups, that's exactly what's happened at the T20 World Cup. Ireland also heading home. Their meeting with Zimbabwe was rained off in Kandy. Finally, Tyson Fury's press conference descended into chaos with an angry rant from his dad. John Fury offered to fight Carl Froch while turning the air blue at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Easy for you to say. Simon Jordan is less than impressed.
It's not about John Fury. It's really about Tyson. And all these people that sit there waxing lyrical about the Furies being back, none of them would want them living next door to them.
Fury fights Arslan Makhmudov in April. There's plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Tributes are being paid to iconic US civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson, who's died at the age of 84, and Nigel Farage showcases what a reform government could look like by naming his top team. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the weather, our range of services is longer than the queue at the Chippy on a Friday night. Tyres, MOTs, brakes and more. Book today at quickfit.com.
Brighter for many of us this afternoon. Rain on the way to southwestern parts a bit later.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. We're coming up this afternoon, Andy. Please tell us what it is.
I will.
I got it all out of order then.
I know.
It's like jazz. It's because we got John Thompson on. Great.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll celebrate Wrexham's Chelsea Cup draw with their in-house commentator, Mark Griffiths.
Yeah.
We'll chat to the Carlisle player in the Pushkas Award shake-up, and we'll commiserate.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, with former Aussie all-rounder Brad Hogg as they crash out of the T20 World Cup.
Oh, dear, what a pity. Never mind.
Yes.
We'll also introduce you to the most famous football coach you've probably never heard of. It's a story and a half. And we'll discover how in the wide world of sports, Hollywood superstar Timothy Chalamet once played against the then Charlton, now Liverpool defender, Joe Gomez.
Amazing story. There's all this. Plus, we'll look at the financial damage that even flirting with relegation can do to a top Premier League club.
Yeah.
Boxer Paula now.
Paula?
Paulie.
He'll be having you for that.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Paulie.
It's all going so well.
It was.
Paulie Malignacci.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
just absolutely murdered that name.
Do struggle with those Italian-American names.
Yes.
Pops into the studio, and we're joined by Fast Show star, actor and comedian John Thompson.
Great. Yeah, looking forward to that. We've been trying to get John on for a long time, but we'll discover why a bit later on. It is 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. And I did watch a bit of football last night.
Yeah.
The games were. I didn't get much out of it. I was sort of hopping between the two.
You're watching the two matches.
I was, yeah. I mean, it was some strange camera angles I've written down at Macclesfield, obviously, because the stands.
The lower stand, yeah.
I mean, in the end, they did brilliantly. I mean, they pushed Brentford.
That's a nice touch by Keith Andrews. You wouldn't expect anything less, really, would you?
He's a bit of class there going.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Considering the gap between the teams, it was a tremendous effort by them, and such a shame the own goal, really. But what can you do? And then Coventry, Middlesbrough, which sort of got quite exciting at 2-1, but then Coventry just immediately went.
I mean, that's a brilliant win for them.
Brilliant win for them. But both teams will be all right. Both teams look to have a nice gap between the teams.
You never quite. Still plenty of games left.
12 games to go.
Millwall breathing down the next.
They won't be taking anything for granted. That's for sure. And of course, today is Pancake Day, and not only
it is. We're going to talk about this later on. We've got the top chef, and I think played in sport. What's it called?
Soccer Aid.
Soccer Aid. Yeah, Sport Aid, Football Aid. Lucas Aid, Soccer Aid.
You've got to have a system.
Dean Edwards is going to join us for a chat from MasterChef.
Talking about pancakes, and there's a little story that caught my eye in the Sun today. Veteran trampolinist Peter Quinney, 91.
Yeah.
Flipped a pancake and himself 4 times at his gym in Melksham in Wiltshire.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you reckon you can do that at 91?
No, I couldn't even.
Unless your blood pressure goes down, unless you have some easier runs in with Chelsea, I think we definitely. You may not make it.
And of course, today is Shrove Tuesday football. We always used to celebrate the up and downers with
Andy Smart. It was a tradition on this show every year. The late great Andy Smart would head, wouldn't he, up to Derbyshire, Ashbourne, and he would take part in the upwards and downwards.
He brings us
Shrove Tide Tuesday.
It was so funny.
I'm in the hug.
I'm in the hug. I say, what's the score? Still 0-0.
We just got told off by going for a bloke's garden. And then we just went through the pub. It's a mad game of football. It's like 200 aside, but we always think of him.
It's either
today.
0-0 or 1-0. But good luck to everybody taking part in that today.
Yeah, good luck.
And. Honestly,
the weather looks like it's a bit better because it stopped raining. We stopped raining here. Hopefully, it has in Derbyshire as well for 5.
I'm glad it didn't stop raining in India or wherever it was they were playing.
Yeah, that's right. So the breaking news is we're sad for Ireland. We didn't want Ireland to go.
We didn't want Ireland to go.
But because Zimbabwe couldn't play Ireland today because of the weather in Pancake, it means that Australia have gone out of the Cricket World Cup, which is such a shame, isn't it? Because I always like watching Australia play.
Yeah. But they didn't pick Steve Smith, which is a mistake, and their 3 best bowlers didn't play. So there's reasons.
We don't want any reasons. Let's just deal with the bare facts. During the Ashes, Brad Hogg would join. He probably enjoyed it. Brad would join us for a chat. The former Aussie all-rounder, and not poke with sticks.
No,
he was very kind,
measured.
But, we thought, Brady, God bless him, he's going to come on and tell us why they're heading out the T20 World Cup before the Super 8.
It's all a bit random, T20, but,
Stop making excuses for him, Andy. Sitting there with your baggy green on.
Oh, yeah, very much so. I'm fascinated by this letter to the Sun today from Bonnie Smith. She said, I love watching The Traitors with Claudia Winkleman.
Yes.
But once you put Z-listers in instead of normal everyday people, it spoils things. What, Z-listers like Stephen Fry, Jonathan Ross, Celia Imrie and Alan Carr. Very much Z-list.
Oh, yeah, that's what I call the Z-list.
Well done.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they published that, but they did. So there we go. A lot of stuff about the Beckhams, honestly.
Is it? Oh, yes. There's.
Can't get away from
both PR teams are working hard, aren't they?
The formative.
Team Brooklyn and the family. They are both working hard on the PR front.
The online battle is just really appalling.
Well, it's just on the tabloid battle. I mean, do you think, they're both just working it? Lots of pictures of the family, barring 2 of them. The other one's hitting back with pictures.
I love you every day.
That's nice, Andy. Thanks very much.
But what I don't understand, never have got this. Victoria Beckham, celebrating, as you put on Instagram, celebrating Cruz early. We love you so much. We just tell him. Don't tell us, tell him. That'd be a much better idea. That's what I think.
Sad news overnight that the great Robert Duvall had died. And Ali was talking about being in the film A Shot at Glory with him a few years back. And I remember having a beer with Ali at one of our talkSPORT do's and asking him about it. And he was saying what a really good lad he was and a great guy to work with. So that was very...
very good age, 95, tremendous.
I mean, what a body of work. And there's one that gets a bit lost, and I've mentioned it before on the show, and no one really talks about it as one of his movies, because he made so many great films over a lot of years.
Wasn't Carry On, no?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. He wasn't in any. He wasn't in any of the carry-ons, as far as I could tell. Actually, that would have been a casting, wouldn't it? In America, oh yeah, Sid, an American bloke's moved in next door. Used to work with the mafia. I bet they tried to do Carry On Godfather, don't they? They would have tried that.
Probably.
Sid with a mouthful of marshmallows, and all that sort of stuff. And Robert Duvall would have politely declined, I would imagine.
But he did anyway.
But it's a film called The Great Santini, excuse me,
Heard of it,
which
but I've
has
never
got
seen
a bit of a sporting flavour to it. A basketball feature. It's not really a sport movie, but sport is at the heart of the father-son relationship. But I do recommend it. It doesn't get shown very often because
I've definitely heard of it, but I don't remember it.
He made so many great films. Yeah, sad news today. And Jesse Jackson, two great men lost to us in 24 hours from very different areas and had a big impact on our lives in different ways. So, to come up today, we will be... we're going to talk. We can talk about whatever you like. You can get in touch. talksport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089. You can tweet to TSH&J. We're going to be chatting to John Thompson of Fast Show fame. And John doesn't like sport, which is why he's never been on before, despite the efforts that we'll go into a little bit later on, and we'll tell you about that. But that's interesting in itself. How growing up in the northwest like that, absolutely surrounded by it.
I remember the first time I found out that he didn't like sport. I was really quite shocked. Surely, but it's.
So we'll have a chat with John. We look forward to that. Mark Griffith's going to join us to kick us off to chat about Wrexham. He's the club commentator.
Yeah, it's not a brilliant bit of foresight, but I think I wrote in my book on Saturday night about Wrexham saying, they'll be looking forward to a home draw against one of the big boys like Chelsea. How
are you feeling about it then? Bit of trepidation?
There you go, I'd be happy. Yeah, so sort of.
You've been very professional in the Cup so far, haven't you, really?
I just think the last two big away performances by Chelsea have been quite impressive. That one's Friday showed a lot of maturity in difficult conditions, a good team, crowd up for it, and missed a lot of chances. So they could have let their heads go down, but they didn't. And in the end, they ran out quite comfortable winners.
No.
But look, it's the FA Cup. Wrexham are, will be
at their place.
Yeah, they'll be right up for it, and it'll take some managing. It'll be a good game, I think.
Later on, Paulie Malignaggi is going to join us in the studio. The former WBA welterweight champion, who's now bare knuckle boxing. He'll tell us a bit more about that move. We're going to chat to the Carlisle player who could be in the shake-up for the Pushkas Award for best goal of the season anywhere in the world. And Timothy Chalamet did actually play in a competitive game of football against Joe Gomez when he was at Charlton. You may not know about the football journey of Timothy Chalamet. I didn't. No. But we're going to chat to Tom Burrows from The Athletic, who's written a big feature on his football background, both in the States and in France, when he used to go home and see his grandparents. So anyway, more on that a little bit later on. We'll build up to the football tonight. We got Benfica Real Madrid for you on talkSPORT 2. And we'll have a look at some of the pick of those matches in the playoffs as well. So we'll be right. Adrian's going to be around the ground with Chris O'Alamo and Kevin Hatchard, who's joining us for a chat, and Scott Minto, and all the goals they go in from Benfica, Real, Monaco, PSG, and Bristol City versus Wrexham. So that's all to come. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with our very good friends at Toolstation. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Toolstation.
Haji, morning to you. Congratulations.
Well done, Haji.
Morning. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're really good, but you must be absolutely over the moon. I mean, how big a... We'll talk about the hat-trick in a moment, but how big a win for Coventry was that?
super important. First versus second, top of the table clash. It was important to see who could come out on the end, and I'm happy we were able to take 3 points home.
Haji, what about the start of the game? I mean, you're unlucky yourself. Good header downwards, hit the post, go back. I mean, the boys looked really fired up, as you would expect for a game of that importance.
Yeah, 100%. We were prepared well throughout the week in training. We knew exactly what we wanted to do, so we just came to the stadium and tried to execute.
Yeah. Well, as a team, you executed, and you personally executed brilliantly as well. How many hat-tricks in your career?
3.
3. Is that the most important of them?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
I love that. So far.
I was going to say, you wouldn't have heard just before you came on, Haji, I mentioned the fact, terrific result. I wouldn't say it was a must-win game, but with Borough on a great run and yourselves maybe slipping ever so slightly, it was certainly a very important game, but no time to rest. West Brom away, Sheffield United away. It is one tough league, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Games come thick and fast.
Now, we're all wearing black armbands in the studio. Myself and Andy donned them about half an hour ago because Australia out of the T20 World Cup. Something we take no pleasure in, Andy.
No, not at all.
After the shoeing we took in the Ashes. Well, a man we spoke to a lot during the Ashes, and he was very fair to us, and I think we should be equally fair to him now. God bless him for joining us today in light of that rain-affected match between Zimbabwe and Ireland. It is their former all-rounder, Brad Hogg. Good afternoon, Brad.
Good afternoon, Paul and Andy. How are you going? I couldn't get on Zoom today because the Barmy Army here, the contingent of Barmy Army in Perth, have just been rubbing my face in the dirt. So it's not looking too flash out at the moment.
So, I mean,
it's a bit of a surprise. I mean, Australia have a lot of players who play in the IPL, and they're pretty good at T20, but I suppose there were some key absences.
Well, look, there are definitely some key absences. Probably our bowling department. Hazelwood, Cummins not there. Stark is retired from T20 cricket. But, missing both of Hazelwood and Cummins really hurt. We don't have that bowling depth, and that's really shown. But also, Maxwell, Stoinis weren't in form before they came into this tournament. Mitchell Marsh, he had a few nut problems before the start of the tournament as well. So we really weren't prepared enough for this particular World Cup, and we probably deserve what we've got out at this stage. Well done to Zimbabwe; they deserve it, even though they couldn't get on today because of rain. But they still beat Australia, so they deserve to go through.
How will this play, you think, at home? What are you expecting when you pick up the press tomorrow?
Well, look, I don't think it's just going to be Australia. They were terrible. Why didn't they play Steve Smith? Why didn't they play Renshaw in that in the last game? So there's already that out in the public eye. So I think the selectors are really going to have a hard job selling why they've still got a job out at the present moment, and probably the coaching staff as well. McDonald, he'll be under a little bit of pressure as well, just to see what he's going to say to the press as well. But how do they come back from it? They've just got to turn things around. They've got a plan. They've got to look at their depth of bowling here in Australia, especially when we lose Cummins, Hazelwood and Stark. What's our next generation going to look? And that's probably going to be the big question mark. I think our batting's pretty strong with the youth coming through, but it's probably our pace bowling.
Because you got the Big Bash, and that's pretty competitive and features loads of local players, more Australian players than anything else.
Oh, definitely. But you look at young Cooper Connolly. He hasn't had that much experience over in the subcontinent. And you go back to Renshaw. He's in absolute form at the moment. He's smashing them in the Big Bash. He was smashing them over there in tough conditions. You had two left-arm spinners versus Sri Lanka. Why haven't you got a left-handed batter who's in form in the middle order facing that type of bowling? Especially, they've even got a leg spinner there. So there's three spinners that Sri Lanka had that would have been right for the picking for Renshaw. But the other thing is Pereira wasn't playing as well. He got injured after his first over, so he didn't bowl his full quota of 4 overs. He's their best pace bowler and best bowler out the death. And Australia still couldn't get over the line. So on that sense, Australia deserve where they are at the moment, and Zimbabwe still deserve to go through.
There's a bit of a feeling that maybe the Big Bash played a part in this because they maybe were a bit undercooked warming up for this series because it went on fairly late, didn't it, into the summer?
Yeah, look, the Big Bash is always going to be there in that calendar. We need it the way it is now, just for the public audience. It goes through the Christmas holidays here in Australia. I'm not sure about the public holidays over in England, but we have 7 to 8 weeks through that Christmas period, and it goes through all of January as well. So we've got to make the most of that with the Big Bash. And look, at the end of the day, there's no excuses whatsoever. They're professional cricketers. They've got to be prepared. They want the big money. They want to go and play in the big tournaments. They want to go and play in the IPL where they get that exposure. And you look at the best cricketers going around. I'll raise the bar there with Joe Root. The way that he prepares for different conditions around the world, you've got to be diligent with it. And I don't think Australia were diligent on this particular tour. They weren't prepared, they weren't fit enough, and they've only got themselves to blame.
We should also give a mention away from this to the Canadian Yuvraj Samra. He's become the first player from an associate nation to make a T20 century. 110 he scored for 65 balls. Amazing. I mean, they didn't win. They lost to New Zealand, but wow, what a performance.
Oh, that was a fantastic performance, and it's always good to see an associate nation step up and deliver and just find a little bit of a talent like this coming through. So it's great to see that in the Canadian side. But the one side that I was really impressed with was Nepal, especially the first game that they played against England there. And I'm not bringing this up to have a crack at England and try to get back at you in any means. But the thing with Nepal there, they're all Nepalese players. They're having such strong development over there, and between, the country's obviously between India and Pakistan as well. So it's just great to see their love of the game is strong, and it's good to see their team actually doing well in the T20 tournament as well. And just on that, I think England are just starting to be right for the picking, and hopefully they get through and play the final against India in this particular tournament.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna have to bat a lot better.
Yeah, they've been poor, Brad. If you've caught many, they've been sort of limping through the tournament.
Getting starts, getting out.
They've been pretty unconvincing so far, England, in this tournament.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly right. But I think the thing is that they've had a few problems off field as well. So having a couple of close wins, even though that they're against the likes of Nepal, even Italy getting 178 against them the other day. But I just think it just gives them a little bit of confidence and gets that team harmony back in the dressing room as well, especially what's happened in New Zealand and in Australia. And hopefully that brings peace in the change rooms, and we can really see them start to flow out in the middle. And I'm really impressed with this Bethel. I just think he's fantastic. That Test 100 he made here in the Ashes series and then being able to adapt to go and play T20 cricket. He's a youngster, and he's just showing the rest of the world how he can play all three formats. Well done to him, and I just can't wait to see more of him.
Well, commiserations, Brad. You know we mean it, and we appreciate you joining us today. Thanks.
You don't mean it. You can dig it. You can really drive it into me as much as you want. So it doesn't worry me. But we've always had our fun and our banter, but good luck to England for the rest of the T20 tournament, and I mean that. I just think it'll be good for English cricket if they can get in the final of the T20 World Cup and win it as well, because we need that exposure around the globe. Australia had that success here in the Ashes, which is good for us, for our youngsters coming through. They're really loving it, so we just need that bit of success for England to keep the game over there on an absolute high and in front and centre of the kids out there that want to play cricket.
Excellent. Nice one, Brad. All the best.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Have a good one.
All the best.
Cheers.
From Australian all-rounder there, Brad Hogg. Now, this Nepal just about plays Scotland. They're both out, but playing for a bit of pride. And Sam Ellard's going to keep us in touch with us throughout the afternoon. They're just going through the anthems. They're getting Flower of Scotland. Good afternoon, Sam.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, not as much on this game this afternoon as was on the game this morning you guys were just talking about. Yeah, both West Indies and England are going to go through 1 and 2 in Group C. West Indies 3 from 3. England winning 3 of their 4 games. The only game they lost was to the West Indies. Scotland have got 2 points. Nepal, no points so far. They've lost all 3 of their games. But Scotland have shown they're a good team, despite only winning 1 win from 3. They did lose to England over the weekend, but pushed England all of the way. So both teams here playing for pride, and both teams would love to sign off with a victory in the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Play starts in 4 minutes' time. Nepal winning the toss, and they're going to have a bowl first against Scotland.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one for you this afternoon. Kevin Hatchard's going to join us a little bit later on. He's part of our kick-off team tonight, keeping an eye on all the Champions League playoff matches. We're going to look at the pick of them over the next couple of nights with Kev. But before that, Mark Griffiths joins us, Wrexham club commentator. You'll know him well with Wrexham, of course. And we're going to be having a chat with him because they drew Chelsea in the FA Cup.
And they're playing tonight, so we can have a look at that.
That's true. They are playing tonight. And that one is live on well, no, it's not live. We're going to keep in touch with that one, Bristol City versus Wrexham this evening, because we are bringing you Benfica versus Real Madrid on talkSPORT 2.
Our favourite film that he's done, and the only time, to my knowledge, that he was teamed up with McCoist was in A Shot to Glory.
In the small village of Kilnockie, not much ever changes.
Should try this new invention, Gordon, called a car.
But now,
it is, of course, the recent signing by Kilnockie of Jackie McQuillan,
Scotland's most notorious star soccer player, has been chosen to boost the town's struggling team.
This guy's going to give us the punch we need, Gordon, to make a run at the cup. Don't you want to win a cup?
Teams win the cup, Peter, not prima donnas reminiscing their past glory.
Academy Award winner Robert Duvall, Michael Keaton, and introducing Ally McCoist.
They are all driven, stubborn, selfish, and as competitive as a pack of street dogs.
This is our shot at glory, lads. All right? All right?
A shot at glory.
Now, as if doing a whole film alongside Ali wasn't enough, here's Robert doing some punditry alongside Dougie Donnelly, John Collins, and Ali.
We're now joined by a genuine Hollywood legend, Robert Duvall. Bob, you're very welcome. Lovely to see you. And I hear you're becoming extremely knowledgeable about Scottish football.
Well, I am, but also I'm here to keep next to him, so because you got to keep your tabs on this guy. He'll get away from you.
Tell me, you learned your line.
And he's actually quicker than me. Correct. He says you have to lose 20 pounds.
Now, what's this I hear about you two going to make?
I still haven't got over the Manchester United match yet.
You watched that?
Unbelievable.
Have Frank Lampard's Coventry shown the rest of the league how to beat Borough? Our EFL expert Adrian Clark saw them counter a brilliant pressing side by bravely pressing high.
They went after Middlesbrough and they kept winning the ball back inside the opposition half. They were so hostile, so aggressive, and it set the tone, and it got them 1-0 in front. And then in the second half, they dropped off a little bit. They went a bit deeper and said, all right, you can come at us, but we'll just break on you.
Haji Wright's hat-trick in the 3-1 win takes Cov back to the top of the Championship with just 14 games to go. In the FA Cup, Macclesfield are out, but Brentford boss Keith Andrews went into their dressing room to congratulate them.
I think they've got a lot of spirit, a lot of character, and a lot of talent. And I just said, you gave us a real test tonight that I was concerned about coming into it.
Now, Jurgen Klopp's agent says Manchester United and Chelsea made an approach after he left Liverpool. Both clubs deny that, though. Jurgen Klopp might be out of managerial work, but Michael O'Neill's got his hands full. Not only has the newly appointed Blackburn boss been tasked with keeping them in the Championship, but he's still Northern Ireland manager, who have their World Cup qualifier against Italy in March. But he told talkSPORT it's no big deal.
I know it might sound a little bit unusual to some people, but I think that realistically it is something that is doable. I don't think it's... If it wasn't, I wouldn't have tried to do it.
And Tyson Fury says he's unretired for the 5th time to make boxing great again. And Gareth A. Davis says it's great for the sport and for the Gypsy King's bank account.
Tyson Fury is full of life, full of colour. Oh, look, he's back for a massive payday against a Russian in Arslanbek Makhmudov, who he should beat, which will lead to an even bigger payday.
Fury will face Arslanbek Makhmudov at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April 11th. More on all this on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel.
In between overs, they're showing scenes just around the stadium. And you went and saw some cricket in India, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. For my 60th birthday, my youngest son, took me to India to a one-day international.
Wow.
It was so exciting. It was very, very good. And
who were they playing?
England. It was
England. Right, okay, right.
Yeah, it was England. I mean, we lost. Of course. It was a fascinating experience, it was. And I mean, I think Kohli was MS Dhoni, that's right. Every time he hit a four, it was like a last-minute goal in the Champions League final.
Everybody went nuts. Yeah.
Nuts. I've never heard anything like it. So it was incredible, but, very enjoyable. And they do love their cricket. It's just a shame they've got a bit too much power in the world game, really, but what are you going to do?
Well, it's funny, we were talking about Andy Smart earlier on because it is Shrovetide Tuesday, and he used to go and do the Shrovetide Tuesday football in Ashbourne in Derbyshire every year, the uppers and downers, the sort of 150-a-side free-for-all football match. And Sage has been in touch. He said, my favourite memory of Andy was when you asked him once during one of the Ashbourne games what was his pre-match routine. And he said he'd just been and had a roast lamb and a couple of pints in the pub.
I think it's about right, isn't it?
I think it is a bit like that. So, you've probably seen this because it's been doing the rounds on social media, but if you haven't or heard it with the appropriate bleep, this is, as you know, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman listening to the FA Cup 5th round draw.
Of course.
And this was the moment they found out that Wrexham had got Chelsea.
Chelsea. Home. Wait. We're home with Chelsea. Ah! That's what you wanted. Ah! Yes. Oh. What the?
You can understand the reaction.
That was Hugh Jackman with him, actually.
That's right. I just said that, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I saw him in... I watched that film on the weekend, actually. Very good. The Neil Diamond tribute act.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
I can't get past the wig.
Really?
Is it?
No, it's good.
It's good.
Oh, yeah.
The wigs put me off.
Don't let the wigs put you off.
The wig has put me off, and it's coloured my view of the film. Sorry, Hugh, if you're listening.
Hugh, if you're listening.
Sorry, Hugh. I got it. Once I get past I like Neil Diamond. Once I get past the wig, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like accents, isn't it? You see something that you can't live with the accent. We're not talking about Hugh Jackman, are we?
We're not really. No.
Mark Griffiths, we chatted to Mark a little while ago. He is Wrexham's long-standing commentator. And I'm sure he'll be there at the racecourse to do this game in the FA Cup. Good afternoon, Mark.
Afternoon. Great to speak to you again.
Yeah, good to talk to you again. I mean, as I said, in the long journey you've had as a Wrexham fan and commentator, and some of the matches and some of the teams you've commentated on during this rise, here we are then, top of the tree, the world champions coming to your place.
Yes, I'm sure they must be as excited as Ryan is. It's full circle for me because, when I first watched this as a kid, we were in the second division, so were Chelsea.
Yeah.
And we actually played them in the FA Cup then, and that hurt, to be honest with you. So a bit of revenge wouldn't be bad.
I'm trying to think at the time. I mean, a couple of them, Mickey Thomas, Joey Jones. Couple of names that
they have met twice in pre-season in the last couple of years, haven't they?
Eddie.
Yes.
One of the games was a bit one-sided, but one of the games was really close. So it'll be interesting. And Wrexham, of course, improving all the time. But then there again, so are Chelsea, to be honest. And this is their third away championship tie in the FA Cup this year. And so far, they've dealt with the two that they've had to deal with. But I think it'll be an interesting game.
They've been very efficient, haven't they? They've been really impressive the way they got those games. But I can't help looking at the fixtures and thinking they've got a Wednesday Premier League game, they've got a week game in the Champions League, so let's hope they over-rotate a bit too much. And,
yeah, that's true.
Cause out bias.
No, I mean, but it's interesting because we've found in the FA Cup that it's not just the Premier League teams that are rotating. All the teams are.
Yeah.
It's a way of giving your squad games, and it's also, if you're like Wrexham going for the,
playoffs, yeah.
They may also rest some players. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
I mean, I would imagine you'd be surprised if they rest too many, wouldn't you, I guess, Mark?
True, although we maybe rested a few too many in the last 16 of the League Cup against Cardiff and got caught out by it. To be fair to Parkinson, though, I mean, he was still gelling some players together and bedding them in. We regularly, likely rotate the team anyway. And then we tend to then have a set 11 for the run-in. And that's worked beautifully every season. Run-in, we've been terrific. And the way we recruited in the transfer window, we only brought a couple in, but they've really added those options. So we rotated a bit against Ipswich, made 5 changes actually, but it still looked well grooved. It feels more like we've got more options, different options for different games rather than bringing in backup players now.
It's this time of year when a team can put a little spurt on, isn't it? And I mean, look, you would expect with a 61 points Borough, that's a lot of ground to make up with the games that are left. But Wrexham could be that team. I mean,
you're 1 point off the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. But what you want to do, you want to get consolidated in those playoff places, a bit like Millwall are, don't you? And maybe get yourself in there so you're not in there one week and out the next.
We've developed massively. At the start of the season, we were getting good results against good teams, but it was because our defence was solid and we could frustrate them and maybe hit them on the break. Now we're a much more progressive team because, like I said, he brought in a lot of players at different stages in the first transfer window, and we've had to really assimilate them together. Parkinson's a good training ground coach as well, and he wants time with those players to get them fully up to speed in what he wants to do. So, yeah, we're a very different team from, say, 2 months ago. And if our game in hand that I'm going to tonight, if we win that, we are back in the 6th place again, although it's tough.
The owners have said that Phil Parkinson's basically got a job for life. He can stay as long as he likes. Remember all those years ago they gave Eddie Howe a 10-year, was it a 10-year contract? And everybody said, oh, that's a mad thing to do.
Yeah, he's done a great
Oh, yeah, but he has. But there was that thing of it's an interesting approach, isn't it? I mean, it's not the sort of thing that owners of football clubs generally do, saying that he can stay as long as he likes. Yeah. They often think you're going to go soft.
Well, I think it genuinely came from the heart with Rob. He's a really nice guy. He's so genuine. Occasionally, though, I think he might say something in an interview born out of that enthusiasm. So I don't know. Certainly, in some capacity, Phil Parkinson will always be seen as an absolute legend with us, and so in that regard, I don't think we'll be doing the dirty on him, shall we put it that way?
No.
I think the other reason why they were so excited about the draw and everything is the relationship between the owners of the two clubs, which they do have,
Yeah.
And I think we saw that in the pre-season game. So that'll be interesting. It's a battle of American owners.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fair play to Rob and Ryan. They've been very, very good in general. They've made a lot of good contacts within the game, in a positive sense, not for their own interests or benefits, but they just are very positive. And like I said, Joey Jones, Mickey Thomas, we've got Edmund Zvecki, John Neal as well, all these links with Chelsea, I mean, they are all major figures in our history. So it does have a certain frisson about it.
So you're going to be commentating on the game when Chelsea come to town, the world champions. And I don't want to single out one particular club, but I'm just interested to know, what was the point where you thought, blimey, we're a long way from home? Was there one game you were commentating on? And this is it's not going to besmirch the team they were playing, but when you thought, man, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Yes. Oh gosh, Gray's Athletic, perhaps. Again, nothing against them; they're very, very friendly.
Yeah.
But I remember we played a game. It was, funnily enough, one of the 3 senior goals Neil Taylor ever scored in his career.
Right.
The third one is in the Euros against Russia, in the Euro 2016. But the second one he ever scored in his life was last game of the season. Meaningless match at Grays. They were already relegated. We were mid-table, couldn't go anywhere. They blasted out this incredibly loud music at the start, deafening. The players come out of the basement of a block of flats. This is built into the stands because that's the changing rooms. They walk out, the music's blaring, and then they cut the music, and it was like a county championship match. You could hear a dog barking on the away end, and genuinely 295 fans. So in terms of our sort of senior history, well, it's a league game, that's the lowest recording crowd, and the noise went from blaring to silence. But Taylor's got a lovely volley, so we took something from it.
Good.
And finally, what do you make of the comments of Paul Mullin? He was a bit critical, wasn't he? He's on loan now, and he did do a wonderful job for a couple of seasons at least for Wrexham. He just couldn't stop scoring, and looked like a player who could play at a higher level. But
what did he say, Andy?
Well, I think he was just unhappy, wasn't he, about having to leave the club or not being appreciated, that sort of idea. You'll know better, I think.
He's an absolute legend for the club and always will be. There's an amazing amount of love for him amongst the fans, and the fact that we're on welcome to Wrexham. For the first time, we're getting to know these players as people, and there's a lot of emotional response beyond just this is a player we like, this is a person we like, someone who stands for things that we like. The problem for him, sadly, is that he got a very serious injury a couple of pre-seasons ago. Came back phenomenally well to score goals in League Two, then had to have another operation and missed another pre-season. And I think missing 2 pre-seasons set him back hugely. And he's got the right to feel frustrated because he knows he's done ever so well. But, when you look at the strikers we've brought in, I hate, it's going to sound cynical, and I don't want it to because I love Paul Mullin, but we couldn't stand still and hope that he'll recover.
No.
We had to move.
No, it's football, of course.
Parkinson had to do that, I'm afraid.
As the club gets bigger, and you can't be sentimental like that. It must be difficult. Well, Mark, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Safe journey. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Very much. That's brilliant. Cheers.
Mark Griffiths there, the Wrexham club commentator, and we'll keep you in touch with their game tonight. And just outside the playoffs as well, Bristol City. They hit the Bristol City.
If they were to be promoted, it'd be fascinating what they do, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they would spend money.
It's interesting watching it happen through the eyes of Charlie, who kind of knows non-league football, watching their growth. And he always said, like, they'll get in League Two, they'll be fine. They'll get out of League Two because you can get you out of League. We'll get a whole lot harder in League One. I mean, yeah, it did, but they still came through it.
Yeah.
But here they are in the Championship. I mean, I think
and doing well.
Surprised
him.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
So, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Kevin Hatchard's going to join us. He's going to be part of our team with Adrian Durham and Chris Owalamo and Scott Minto tonight with all the goals they go in. in the Champions League playoffs and the EFL. And we're going to look at some of the big games over the next couple of nights and why ending up in the playoffs isn't necessarily that bad a thing. We're here with our very good friends at Toolstation. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation.
I see Liverpool qualifying for the Champions League. I also see them going on a competitive run in the Champions League itself. And I think Arne Slot will be at Liverpool starting next season, and he should be, I think.
They say, I mean, his agent says, look, he's moved away from coaching now, and he's said to be very happy with his new role and environment. The only jobs I think would tempt him back into management are of the German national team or the English national team.
I don't disagree.
They're the two that I could see him
absolutely
coming back for.
Yeah.
I mean, Real Madrid, PSG. I mean, the Real Madrid's a big challenge for anybody, isn't it? And getting those kind of Galactico signings to do the running required, the heavy metal football. I think it would be a lot. And I know Klopp wasn't always the biggest fan of the media in the UK. The media around Real Madrid is
phenomenal.
Is insane. Yeah, it would.
Well, why would you risk your reputation in a job that is littered with the sort of carcasses of those who've gone before?
Yeah. And I guess, considering he was a direct rival of Pep Guardiola for several years, will he feel like maybe he should have more league titles, more Champions League titles? Because he
probably feels he should have more titles.
Would he like to get back into it maybe for that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But I mean, you've got to say, two of the best title races we've seen in years, they took Man City all the way, didn't they? I mean, and you could argue it's just a little bit unfortunate.
Now, with the Scottish title race exploding into life, Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist delve into who has got what it takes to clinch the league and why a good title race is so important for football up in Scotland, especially one where there's a third force in the mix.
Very exciting, this.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast, available on all podcast platforms. I love a podcast. Anyway, joining us now to look ahead to a couple of big nights of Champions League playoffs. He'll be part of our team with kick-off this evening, keeping an eye on the big games, is Kevin Hatchard. Good afternoon, Kev.
How are we doing? I'm a little bit disappointed I missed the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. Yeah, we all love a pod.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
I missed out there.
Maybe that's the start of something, really, the podcast. And all eyes really on Benfica, Real Madrid, because of what happened in the first one and, you know, Jose and his history with Real Madrid. We'll come on to the other games. Maybe we should start there. It is fascinating. You do sense that, you know, they won't get bit twice.
No,
Real
they're
Madrid.
going to be wary, Madrid.
Yeah, especially with a second leg at their place.
Yeah, I think that's the key, the fact that the second leg is at the Bernabeu and they have been playing well in terms of getting results. I do find this dynamic really interesting. They played 20 days ago and had that extraordinary 4-2 win for Benfica, where the goalkeeper Trubin goes up and scores the vital goal that not only gets Benfica through but knocks Marseille out. And that had big ripples because De Zerbi, the coach, and Benatia, the sporting director, have both gone from Marseille. So that header had big ramifications. I think Real are clearly man for man the better team, but the truth is they're not perfect. Defensively, they've got injury problems. They look vulnerable at times. And we are kind of back to star power. And Xabi Alonso tried this top-down approach. It didn't work. And this is what we're now looking at. Can the star quality shine through over two legs?
It's interesting that Monaco are playing Paris Saint-Germain. And previously, the old format, if I'm right in thinking that teams from the same country couldn't meet at this stage, Kevin. Is that right? But they can now.
No. At this stage, they could be four, because if you remember, PSG played Brest last season and they thrashed them.
No, I didn't mean last time. I meant with the old format, the original.
Oh, the old format. Yes, sorry, absolutely. Yes, you're right. In the old group format, in this stage, yes, there was country protection, but from then on, you could actually draw a team in your own country. Yeah,
does this give it a bit more jeopardy because it's a sort of domestic dust-up and, you know, Monaco will be at it? Or, I mean, we saw what PSG ended up in the playoff last time and it didn't really harm their chances of winning it, did it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the interesting thing is that Paris have lost in Monaco this season, but I would argue, even though Monaco have some decent players, I think they're struggling overall. I think if you look at what's happened since Sebastian Pocognoli came in as coach to replace Adi Hutter, it just hasn't worked. Overall, they've picked up a little bit of late. Is that PSG obviously lost at Rennes at the weekend. They've lost top spot in Liga. And they're still not quite there physically. And I think that's understandable. They've had an extraordinary schedule over the past year or so. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how much you pay players, doesn't matter how much you lavish on your squad, they've still got a finite limit in terms of the physical side of things. So, yeah, I think they are struggling a bit.
Dortmund playing Atalanta, and I was massively disappointed with Dortmund when they played against Spurs at our place. I mean, we were going for a really bad trot. We made them look really ordinary. They seem, I mean, they're comfortably second.
The European masters, you know that.
Comfortably second in the Bundesliga. But I mean, were you shocked that night, Kevin? Were they just off it, or was that been sort of par for the course?
Yeah, Dr. Tottenham couldn't cure them, and I was really quite staggered by that. Maybe they prefer natural remedies, I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was
homeopathic. Yeah.
Exactly. They, in general, are a lot more solid under Niko Kovac, which is why it was jarring. It was shocking. I don't think they were helped by what I thought was a poor red card, really. I thought it was a VAR red card. I think actually in real time, the force from Svensson was negligible, really. He was actually going the wrong way. But look, he was sent off. They lost the game. I don't think that will overly worry them here. I commentated on them on Friday against Mainz, and they were just very efficient. They were 2-0 up in quarter of an hour against a good side. Their goals came from set plays largely. Julian Reyes on the right wing back made all 4 goals on Friday. So putting lots of crosses in. Guirassi's back in form. But they face an Atalanta team that's really dangerous under Raffaele Palladino, who's done a brilliant job as coach since replacing Ivan Juric. So this is one of the least predictable playoff ties we've got.
I was going to say interesting one tomorrow night. Bodø/Glimt Inter. you maybe wouldn't expect to see Inter in this situation. And, they beat City in the first legs at their place in Bodder.
Spurs did all right out there last year, but it's a hard place to go, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I don't know what the weather conditions are like currently, but could this be a bit of a banana skin for Inter? Cold, yeah, normally is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look, it's an artificial surface. It's on the edge of the Arctic Circle, and that's before you even get to the fact that Bodo Glimt are an excellent team. The last 2 games, they beat City and they beat Atletico Madrid. That is wild to have to do that and come through and do it. And it's not even in their domestic season. Their domestic season ended a long time ago. So there's 2 ways you could look at that. One of them, you could say, well, they're not sharp and they're having big gaps between games. But the other way you could look at it is they're well rested. And they will fancy this. They're one of the most mentally strong teams in the competition. I would say they've done a huge amount of work on that with a former fighter pilot who has really helped them with kind of the mental side of the game. He's gone into self-help and all of that, and it's really worked for them. So this is not easy. Inter are the better team, of course, but this is not easy.
It's quite a bit of English dominance so far, especially in the top 8, and PSG and Madrid look a bit iffy. Who do you think can stop any of the English teams? Would it be the sort of, I suppose it must be Bayern and Barca, really, the strength?
Barcelona, I've had reservations over the whole way through. I did last season and I still do, only because defensively I think they're a real worry at this level, because, and it's not even a personnel thing necessarily, it's just the way Hansi Flick plays. He wants to play that high line, he wants to squeeze, he wants to make it really difficult for the opposition. But you look at the last 2 games, they were absolutely destroyed at the Metropolitano in the Copa del Rey by Atletico Madrid. They were 4-0 down at half-time. And then you look at the game last night and they lost 2-1 at Girona. So I would have worries about them. I think Bayern are very dangerous. I think they've got the firepower to take anybody on. I think they've tightened up a little bit defensively. And I think PSG, if they can sort out some of these physical issues, if they can rotate correctly, if they can find their sharpness without the ball and be a bit more clinical in attack, they are capable. So the 3 to me at the moment that scream out are Arsenal, PSG and Bayern. But what's exciting about the tournament, I think, is you've got a layer of 6, 7, 8 who could win it under that.
We still have Premier League interest in the playoffs. With Newcastle going to Karabag.
It's a difficult place.
It's a long old trip. Last time we saw them, they were getting a shoeing from Liverpool.
Yeah, but we went there, Chelsea, and we didn't play really. 2-2, I think.
They're a slightly different kettle of fish at home, Karabag, aren't they, Kev?
Yeah, they are. They're much stronger at home, I would say, than they are on the road. I wouldn't necessarily say that trip to Anfield was representative of what they're all about. I think Ruben Rubanov, the coach, admitted they were a bit overawed by playing at Anfield, to be honest. And that hasn't been the case, really, in the group stage. If you look at what they did at Benfica in the very first game of the league phase, they were 2-0 down very early on. You thought, oh, here we go. They're going to struggle. Came back to win 3-2. Then won the next game against Copenhagen. And just when you thought the whole thing was dribbling away from them, as Andy says, they drew 2-2 with Chelsea and played really well, I thought. And then they were able to beat Eintracht Frankfurt 3-2, which is a phenomenal result. So at home, they've been exceptional, and they're a dangerous team, and they will attack. They're not just going to dig in and hope to survive. They're going to take it to Newcastle, I would think, in Baku.
So we're going to hear from you later, aren't we, with the kick-off team, keeping an eye on all these matches.
Yeah, and it's a really exciting show and a really exciting time, I think. There's so many good games. I mean, obviously, we'll be reviewing some of the stuff from Galatasaray Juventus, which we haven't mentioned yet.
Oh, no,
That's a fascinating game in the sense that Juventus full of goals under Luciano Spalletti, but they lost at the weekend. Galatasaray started the league phase really well, beat Liverpool, you might remember, but then lost a bit of momentum. So you're never quite sure what you're going to get. But this is going to be a great game, I think.
Brilliant. We'll hear from you later, Kevin. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, gents.
Yeah, Kevin will be there with Crystal Wellamo and Adrian Durham and Scott Minto. All the goals they go in domestically and in those European Champions League playoffs.
That'd be fun. That'd be a good listen.
7 o'clock. And then straight after that, it's the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy at 10. Gabby Bonlahor is going to be alongside Andy Goldstein at Forward Drive today. Still to come with us. In the next hour, Paulie Malignaggi joins us. The former WBA welterweight champion pops into the studio. He has entered the world of bare knuckle boxing these days. Chef Dean Edwards on Pancake Day talks a bit of football as well. And John Thompson, the actor, known from The Fast Show and comedian, will be joining us for the first time on the show. Plus, we'll find out more about one of the greatest ever football coaches you may not have ever heard of. So that's all to come.
But Forest fans, in comes Vitor Pereira. Is he the right choice? And Thomas Frank has gone. In comes Igor Tudor. So Frank for Tudor, Deitch for Pereira. Do those pivots give you more or less confidence of Premier League survival? Basically, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Because you do not want to drop down to the Championship. 03717 2233 44. Danny, big Forest fan. Good morning, Danny. What about it? Vitor Pereira. And where are you, Danny, with your owner, Evangelos Marinakis? What is he about?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for letting me on.
Morning.
Yeah, I think the thing with Marinakis is that if he makes a mistake, he corrects it. I mean, we could talk about a lot of clubs in the past, Man United being one, Tottenham in some circumstances, when they basically hammer the manager, but nothing's done about it. Mr. Marinakis has basically taken a club from Championship, took them into the Premier. A bit soon, but he got them into Europe as well. And in respect to his actions of firing Nuno basically did that himself. You can't do your washing outside and expect no consequences. Yeah. Then you get Ange coming in, which was the big Ange show, and he was the same at Tottenham. It's all about him. When he was getting press conferences about the next game, all he was talking about was him. Now, you could argue that a lot of that's down to the media and pushing him. And then you get Sean Dyche in, who's got links with Forest. I get all of that. But he was just, he wasn't performing. You can argue with the stats, and if we'd have kept him, he might have kept us up, etc., etc. But the most important thing which has been hammered is the fact that we need to stay in the Premier.
Yeah, we're going to enter the incredible world of a football coach that embraced the dark arts but was incredibly successful, and you may never have even heard of them. That's all coming up with the author Richard Fitzpatrick and John Thompson, actor and comedian, popping in the studio as well, after Ben Fletcher with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon. Forest fans, you'll be pleased to hear that Vitor Pereira's points then pints mantra will continue at the City Ground. The fourth manager to work under Evangelos Marinakis this season, the Portuguese says he's simple, honest and a hard worker.
I have fire because I have passion. Football is my passion. Football is something that sleeps with me and wakes up with me, and I think I can help.
Forest go to Fenerbahce in their Europa Conference League playoff on Thursday, live over on talkSPORT 2. Next, newly installed Blackburn boss Michael O'Neill has told talkSPORT he won't be hindered by his other job.
I know it might sound a little bit unusual to some people, but I think that realistically it is something that is doable. I don't think it's, if it wasn't, I wouldn't have tried to do it, because I think that obviously neither party would benefit from that.
O'Neill says he went from representing Northern Ireland at the Nations League draw in Brussels straight to Rovers training. Lionesses left-back Poppy Pattinson has her first senior England call-up for the World Cup qualifiers against Ukraine and Iceland. Serena Wiegman's named her 25, with Leah Williamson, Lauren James, Jess Carter, Hannah Hampton and Jess Greenwood all back from injury. Ireland and Australia have crashed out of the T20 World Cup this lunchtime. Already eliminated Scotland face Nepal this afternoon. We'll have an update from talkSPORT's Sam Ellard shortly. And we're told Tyson Fury and his dad John simply cannot take criticism. John Fury offered out Carl Froch during Tyson's Makhmudov press conference. Our very own Simon Jordan says Fury Jr. is a star who elevates boxing, but he can't cope with anything that isn't direct praise.
I think a real man can take criticism and go, right, I'll tell you what, I will combat your criticism by two things: proving you wrong, but also if your point is wrong, I won't shut you down and ban you because I'm too cowardly to counter your opinion. I will just deal with it and address it.
Fury faces Russia's Arslanbek Makhmudov at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in April. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Nigel Farage names 2 former Tories as his top picks for Reform's front bench. And another day, another warning. This time, it's a cold health alert.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Come rain or shine, we've got your electric car covered with 400 EV ready centres, so you can drive away happy every time.
Rain on the way to southwestern parts a bit later. For now, though, a bright afternoon in store for many of us.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Comedian actor John Thompson popping in to see us a little bit later on this hour. Before we chat about the quite incredible story of Helenio Herrera, the football coach. You may not know his full story, but do stay tuned because it is incredible. Let's check in with Sam Ellard watching Nepal play Scotland in the T20 World Cup.
Scotland enjoying themselves. They were asked to bat. 8 overs gone, 69 runs on the board already. George Munsey and Michael Jones off to a really good start, in particular Jones, who's got 48 runs from just 27 balls, 6 fours and 2 boundaries, getting the innings off to an absolute flyer. George Munsey at the other end, he's going at less than a run a ball. He's trying to get Jones on strike, who's trying to take the attack to the Nepal bowlers. So Scotland and Nepal both can't qualify for the Super 8, but want to sign off here in Mumbai in style. Into the 9th over, Scotland off to a good start, 73 without loss.
Thanks very much, Sam. Now, you may not know the name unless you are a bit of a football historian. Helenio Herrera, he was an Argentinian who managed, amongst others, Barcelona, Inter, Atletico Madrid, and was very, very successful as a coach.
Very influential.
That only really tells part of the story. Richard Fitzpatrick's biography of him has the subline "Football's Original Master of the Dark Arts," and we'll be touching on some of that now. Good afternoon, Richard.
Good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite an incredible story. I mean, obviously, we were aware of him. I mean, we were aware of his achievements as a coach back in the day, but maybe not the full depth, the dark side of him as a coach. So it's probably worth, let's talk him up first. Let's say he was a wonderful coach who won lots of things, didn't he? Let's just run through his sort of roll of honour.
Incredible CV. I mean, he won back-to-back league titles with Atletico Madrid. It'll be unlikely they'll ever do that again, you know. He went on at Barca, then he unseated the great Alfredo Di Stefano Real Madrid team, winning a double back-to-back league titles, Fairs Cups, all in 2 years. It was an incredible spell. And then he was lured to Milan, to the land of the Lira, to coach Inter, and he created the Grand Inter, this famous team that was unbeatable in the mid-60s, winning Scudetti and back-to-back European Cups in 64 and 65. And then he had his Waterloo in the 67 European Cup final against Celtic, against the Lisbon Lions, but a serial winner.
His methods, of course, is what you write about in the book. I mean, I suppose there was a bit of Sir Alex, bit of Jose, bit of, if you're looking for comparisons, but I mean, a taskmaster, wasn't he, as a coach?
A taskmaster par excellence. You mentioned Fergie. I mean, we know Fergie was a tough man. Like, he didn't brook any dissenters, infamous for the hairdryer treatment. But Elenio Herrera, if he disagreed with a person, he would headbutt them. He was an incredibly violent guy. But mixed that with with incredible motivational skills. I interviewed Fabio Capello, who listeners will know, the former England manager, and he had a long career in Serie A football. Started out for 2 years under HH at Roma, and went on then won Scudetti with Juventus and Milan. He said he was never again the same player as he had been under HH. He was just got under the skin of players, bigged them up. They were indestructible. He took that self-belief that a HH instilled in him into his own coaching career. He said 70% of his coaching methods were based on HH. When he looks at games today, he sees the philosophy of HH, the techniques he used. So he was an extraordinary figure, mixing the carrot and the stick.
Some of the things he did, though, probably most managers wouldn't get away with now, because we have drug testing. You talk about, I mean, there was doping going on in football at that time, but he did embrace it, and quite a lot of the players were being incentivised to juice, whether they wanted to or not. And you spoke to one or two players, didn't you? Mazzola as well, who said, look, I was asked to take this stuff and I'd put it under my tongue, but I wouldn't take it. And he was told afterwards by a doctor just how dangerous. It was amphetamines they were being given, wasn't it?
Amphetamines, that was the drug of choice in football in the 60s. It came into vogue in the Second World War. The soldiers and all the armies were using it, the Japanese, the British, the Germans. Then it got into cycling post-war. It was in football post-war. The great Stanley Matthews took amphetamines before an FA Cup game in 1946. He was up at 2:30 in the morning, in his pyjamas, sweeping leaves in his driveway. Couldn't get to sleep. So they were all at it. Even Bill Shankly, when he was managing Workington in the mid-50s, he used to lay out 11 tablets on the table for his players to play. So it was endemic in the sport. In Italy, though, it was off the charts. And HH, when he arrived there in 1960, he upped the ante. They brought in doping controls in the 61-62 season. He was one of the first clubs. They did a raid in February 62. Several clubs were hooked, but the levels in the three inter players that were caught were through the roof in comparison with.
And there was a tragic incident involving one of his players. Tell us about that, Richard.
Well, the book concludes with this is what was the catalyst for me doing the book. I live in Barcelona. I'd moved there in 2010. I was aware of HH. You couldn't avoid him being in Spain because he's such a titanic figure. The cult of the celebrity at Barca comes from HH in the late 50s and went on then with Cruyff and Guardiola later on. But I discovered after about 5 years living there that he was involved in the premature death, the first white death in football at Roma, that team that Fabio Capello played with. One of his players, his star player, Giuliano Taccola, died of alleged doping. He had heart disease, underlying problems, and he died on the day of a game against Cagliari in March '69. So the book finishes with the investigation into that white death, as I say, and it led to HH being tried in court for manslaughter as a result.
Yeah, I mean, his end was, pretty sad and lonely. I mean, didn't he, right at the end of his life, because I'm almost on his deathbed, admit to his wife that he cheated on her for years. I mean,
yeah.
Some things can go unsaid, can't they?
Yes, not right. What do you do that for? Thanks.
He was a serial winner and a serial adulterer. I interviewed that lady, an extraordinary woman, a famous journalist in her own right in the 60s in Italy, Fiora Gandolfi, and she said that HH couldn't look at a beautiful woman without trying to seduce her. She told me at length about his infidelities, finding women in their palazzo in Venice, in their bed. And on, like you touch on the last day of his life, he was in hospital and the lighting was poor, and he asked his wife to read a newspaper that was under his mattress. He took it out, and it was a letter from one of his lovers saying that she had always fell in love with the wrong man. And a few hours later, he went into intensive care and passed away. But he didn't change his spots.
We used to interview the legendary football writer Brian Glanville, who was pretty obsessed with Helenio Herrera.
In fact, he said on this show once, we now realise,
still quote it.
He said, have you got time for a quick story about Helenio Herrera? And I'm reading your book, I realise there's no quick story about it. I mean, you can't, it just seems there are a million of them. That's the thing. It's and I think a lot of the listeners may just know the name, but they probably wouldn't, unless they are sort of football historians, know the full story. So it's a fascinating read, and we've definitely only really scratched the surface. Helenio Herrera, football's original master of the dark arts by Richard Fitzpatrick, is published by Bloomsbury, and it's out now in hardback. Richard, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Good
Thanks
to see you.
Guys. Yeah, enjoyed that.
Actor and comedian John. I don't think John's going to give us chapter and verse on Helenio Herrera because he's not the biggest sports fan, but that's not stopped him coming into talkSPORT. We've tried many times, but he's here today.
Good.
And he'll join us very shortly. We're here with Tool Station. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Tool Station.
So what can Spurs fans expect? Let's find out from someone who played under the man at Udinese. Very good morning to Al Ahly and Nigeria defender William Troost-Ekong. Morning, William.
Good morning, William. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on, mate.
Great to see you, mate.
What can Spurs fans expect from Igor then?
Well, we heard a little bit about it in the clip. We had him 2 times at Udinese. He's a manager that likes to play 3-5-2 or a variation of it, from what my experience was. Of course, attacking football. He hired back line, tries to press high, can be quite direct, and he's definitely a personality. So if they need someone to shake up the place and get everyone going, then he's definitely the right person for it. So, like mentioned before, the North London derby probably the perfect game to start, and he's definitely also someone who's not intimidated by anything like that. So. A big personality, and he's going to get everyone trying to run through a brick wall. So I think that's probably been my experience with him.
Ask you, William, you mentioned he's a big personality, and you would suggest he's going to have to be to take this job, because when you look at it, what's he going to have to do differently? Do you think, in terms of, you look at the previous coach, there have some great coaches and some fantastic managers, all the way back, Mourinho, Big Ange, all these guys, obviously Thomas Frank. What's he going to have to do differently, do you think?
Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, we've got a couple of pals with Fast Show connections, and they've said to both Paul Whitehouse and Simon Day over the years, get John Thompson on. We'd love to have John on the show. And they said, he doesn't like sport. He's not interested in sport.
Well,
but we've got him in at last, although we're not ostensibly going to talk about sport, but we are. Lovely to see you, John. Thank you for coming in.
Me.
Yeah, the boys told us in no uncertain terms that wasn't your thing. And we've often wondered, sort of growing up where you did up in Lancashire and stuff, surrounded by all these football teams and cricket teams, that you never got the bug.
It's a very simple last to be picked story in the yard.
Really?
So, but the sad thing about it is, so my dad, I think, was it when he was younger, he was a Preston North End supporter when they were big. You know?
Tom Finney and all that.
Yeah, Tom Finney, who went on to be a plumber and then of an empire, you know. So my dad never pushed it on me because I was very uncoordinated as a child. I couldn't really catch a ball. I wasn't very good. So then in the yard, when you were at primary school, it was kind of like pick a team. Now, I blame the pickers.
Yeah,
because the ultimate for the useless one is the goals. Well, if you just little kids in primary school just run after there's no defence or attack.
No.
They all run after the ball anyway. But the pressure of the goalkeeper is so immense.
It's like Kez, really, isn't it?
It is like exactly.
Casper,
get off that goalpost. So it's so true. When I saw that, I went, well, that's me. You know what I mean? So that kind of the thing is, that's my only free period of an hour's freedom in school, and I'm bullied.
Oh.
And I thought, oh no.
And it's shaped, and it's interesting.
So my dad didn't give me a team, because like you follow your dad, don't you?
Yeah.
So I didn't have a team for that. So I didn't really show any promise in any thing. So it wasn't. It was kind of like I did okay at athletics, you know. I could run fast, but had a bit of a strange gait and got bullied for that. So it's just you can understand why I'm not really,
of course.
You know.
I don't think that's probably not an unusual story. It probably is. Yeah.
Well, the story I tell in the Fast Show, because I played Roger Nouveau, the Nouveau football.
Yeah, the guy used to sit at Arsenal with his hamper.
That's from his Fortnum and Masons handing out macarons.
Yeah.
Well, someone said, is it based on Piers Morgan? And I said, well, no, but he said, well, it looks like it is to me.
Yeah.
So, but what did happen was we were filming at Riverside, Middlesbrough's new stadium, and the guy was cleaning up he had like a leaf blower cleaning the litter up, and I had an Arsenal shirt on, and he went, you've got a nerve wearing that shirt in here. And I went, well, I'm just playing a character. I don't care, you want to get out? And he took it very, very seriously, and I said, for me, I was in fancy dress. So it's a funny old world. But so I've never really embraced the world.
So when Paul and Simon and a few of the others maybe get involved in a bit of a football chat, you sort of...
Well, it's funny you should say that, because it's like really they're speaking a foreign language to me, and I just kind of sidle away, and Paul went, that's why we do it.
Now we're going to talk about old age, and we're not kind of, aren't we? Turning 50 apparently is when Brits stop feeling young, but not when they feel old. Is that right? I mean,
it's a concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
Age. So I always quote Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood said, don't let the old man in.
Right.
So you should never say you're old. You don't say,
I feel anywhere.
No, that's it. And you'd be in trouble, wouldn't you, really? I mean, and it served Clint well, because it was about 95 now. He's still making films.
He's still directing, He's in the mid-90s, Yeah. So I think that mantra, don't let the old man in, is paramount, really.
It's hard, though, isn't it? In little things that you do in life that you realise that make you sound old. And I mean, some of the research that they did, little things apparently...
Bending over and making that
They say
noise.
Sitting down to put your socks on. People do that all the time. I mean...
It's one of the hardest things when you get older.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to sit down and do it than stand.
Well, it is, but even doing that can be quite tricky.
What, sitting down and putting your socks on? Did you have someone else put your socks on?
No, I don't.
Your valet?
I remember my father-in-law, and he lived at a very good age, but when he was in his 90s, that was one of the things he found very difficult.
What, putting his socks on? Yeah, okay, well, that's a sort of watch out for that. Then,
okay.
Definitely, yes. And what are those moments, John, and you think, oh, blimey.
I think for me it's more kind of like perspective. Things like... I kind of get slightly obsessed with things like bins, bin days.
Oh, bin day, bin day's big, yeah.
Wrong bins out, and
I've got the app. I've got the local authority app on the phone so I can double check bin. That's bad, isn't it?
Well, I pay a hefty council tax in Didsbury where I live, and there's an alleyway round the back, like we call it a ginnel at the back.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of us collectively put our bins out, and you just use any bin that's free. But some people keep their bins in the enclosure of their house or garden.
Yeah.
But other people kind of go well, I don't mind. It's socialism at work, really. Finally. And you just put it in your paper in the blue, your bottles and glass in the brown, and the grey household. Yeah. And what I do, and 3 other gents on our street WhatsApp group, is because the bin men won't pull them out of the alleyway. They leave them, so you have to put them on the street.
Yeah.
So 3 of us, we do it. And if I'm away and it's not been done, I feel a bit, and it gets to me. And I think, why is it getting to you? And I think that's a sign of old age.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? But I have a young daughter who's 16, Sophia. Well, she's 16 next month, 30th of March. And she keeps me young as far as cultural references go.
Yeah.
So all this the latest parlance, skibbity riz, and what the Sigma, Ohio, all that beige flag, all that. Brat Summer. I'm kind of on top of it.
It's good to get it, but it's not great to use it.
No, exactly right.
You've got to know, haven't you?
I agree. 100%.
Andy, even I've not heard you talk about your brat summer, which is just as well, really. So, go and check out this. It is quite. The classic one is when you stand up, the noise you make when you stand up. That's a clear sign.
I think Billy Conley did a brilliant routine about it when you just but there's not necessarily a pain there.
No.
You seem to the action. You have to have a sound, don't you? Oh,
yeah.
But I'm not particularly exerting or feeling any physical pain.
So this was commissioned by the American Pistachio Growers, which sounds like an indie band. Sounds like someone John Peel would have played.
Exactly right. Old grey whistle chest. These are the American Pistachio Growers. Keep your eyes out for these. Nice.
What was the character you loved playing the most in the Flash? Because you had Denzel, didn't you? You had the guy, the Open
Denzel's
University.
the scientist.
Yeah, the American Open University guy.
I loved playing him, and I didn't think that the Jazz Club character would land as well as it did because jazz is so niche.
Was it your idea, that?
It was Paul and Charlie's writing, and I fleshed him out. So I had to come up with some sort of
brilliant thing, because I remember being in a jazz club in Argentina, and this band came out, and all I could do was that, just every
nice.
Yeah, I sort of filmed myself doing it. It was ridiculous. But
I almost got shushed by a man in a beret at the Bridgewater Hall in Manchester. I went to see Herbie Hancock, but it was a night of free jazz. And I don't like free jazz. I like a melodic structure.
Yeah.
And I'm a professional drummer. So to go and see Herbie Hancock with a back catalogue of brilliant melodic jazz is what my mate calls, and it was free jazz.
Yeah.
My mate calls it a fire in a pet shop.
Well, I used to play with a bass player who used to say it sounds like music from a Czechoslovakian cartoon, which is
very good.
Which is very
Dancing
good.
Pasta, yes.
Yes, Ian Danter, our resident drummer, has been in touch. He said, John is a brilliant drummer. I think he was part of the world record we set in 2012 in Manchester with 600 drummers playing at the same time. Were you at that one?
I was,
Dancer.
It's not been beaten, actually. That's great. Yeah. It was an amazing bit of logistics that we all played at once. So everyone brought their own kits, and the demographic was vast. Like even old ladies playing and kids. It was just really nice for everyone to come together. We did it once, and we got beaten by the Americans. I think they called it Woodstick.
Yeah.
And then we came back with, I think we did 800 the next time, and we still hold the record.
Brilliant. Favourite drummers then, John, for all the drummers?
So for session, probably Steve Gadd.
Yeah.
Buddy Rich for jazz. Vinnie Colliato, Sting's drummer, who's not just Sting's drummer. But there's some amazing new... I mean, the resources for children now to learn are, on social media as a teaching thing. Because I had to listen and work it out, what they were playing. So... do
you play in a band now?
No, the thing is, though, drummers are notoriously unreliable, but I'd be unreliable for a different reason, is that I'm acting.
Yeah.
So I can't commit. So my only time to play is like jam nights, when they go, well, anyone can get up and play. So, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it's lovely to see you.
Thanks.
And at last we got you in, and we even got a great story out of you as to why you don't like sport, but that's
maybe in the next life, gents.
Yeah, and you've just done the Fast Show tour, haven't you?
Yeah.
Are there plans to do any more? Or you've done?
I would think so because it always sells out.
Yeah,
and there's a great appetite for it. And it's so great after all these years that people relish it, really. So there's a lot of venues in the country we've not played. We love the Palladium, and I know we'll be welcome there again. So I would like to think so, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me
coming
on.
in. Actor, comedian John Thompson there. Paulie Malignaggi's dropping in to see us, 2-weight world champion. He's gone into the world of bare knuckle boxing. He'll tell us about that. Unless it's Pancake Day. Dean Edwards, the chef and man who likes a game of football, will be joining us for a chat as well.
Headlines this morning: Yusuf Chamiti struck a hat-trick as Rangers pulled closer to Scottish Premier League leaders Hearts with a 4-2 win at Ibrox. He'd scored 4 in 28 for Rangers before yesterday's hat-trick. Arsenal have endured a fresh injury blow in the shape of defender Riccardo Calafiori, forced to pull out of the starting 11 minutes before their win over Wigan. Wolves and Arsenal. Wolves coming up this week for the Gunners. Manager Mikel Arteta admitted he is worried about the situation.
Yes, and especially because we are going through. Before it was the strikers, then it was the defenders, now it's the midfielders. But we are still coping with that. But yeah, we need some players back and fit, and to give us as well not only numbers, but different options in relation to the opponents that we have. So the quicker they are, the better.
We're still coping, did he say that? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got. You know, I know they've had some injuries, but the squad is humongous.
No, listen, I think they're North London rivals. If there's any sympathy, and I doubt there will be from opposition football fans, but if there's any sympathy for a team with injuries, I would suggest Tottenham might just be top of the list.
Yes.
If there's any getting thrown about.
Yeah, completely agree. He's not going to be pushed to name a starting 11 and a squad of internationals on the bench.
We're told Tyson Fury and his dad John cannot take any criticism. John Fury called out Carl Froch for a fight during Tyson's Makhmudov press conference, while Simon Jordan says Tyson is a star who elevates boxing, but he can't cope with anything that isn't direct praise.
I think a real man can take criticism and go, right, I'll tell you what, I will combat your criticism by two things: proving you wrong, but also if your point is wrong, I won't shut you down and ban you because I'm too cowardly to counter your opinion. I will just deal with it and address it.
Tyson Fury fights Russia's Arslanbek Makhmudov at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in April. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest boss Vitor Pereira has been speaking for the first time since his appointment.
I think I can help. I came to give my body and my soul to this club, to help the club, and together we can do it.
He's their fourth permanent manager of the season after Sean Dyche was sacked last week. Forest sit 1 place and 3 points above the relegation zone with 12 games to play. London City Lionesses left-back Poppy Pattinson's got her first senior England call-up. Serena Wiegman's named her 25 for next month's World Cup qualifiers against Ukraine and Iceland. Leah Williamson, Lauren James, Jess Carter, Hannah Hampton and Jess Greenwood are all back from injury. And after Manchester United and Chelsea both deny approaching Jurgen Klopp back in 2024, Jeff Stelling can't see Klopp taking charge of any more club sides.
The only jobs I think would tempt him back into management are of the German national team or the English national
I don't
team.
disagree.
They're the two that I could see him
absolutely
coming back for.
You can get all the latest breaking news at talksport.com.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on Talk Sport. We'd like to say we've been joined in the studio by a former two-weight world champion. He's now entered the world of bare knuckle boxing. Paulie Malignaggi joins us. Good afternoon, Paulie.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah. So, how have you found that transition to bare knuckle?
It's combat, so at least it's something that I'm used to as far as the career I had before in professional boxing. A little bit of a different challenge, some similarities, some pros, some cons, but certainly it whets the appetite for that competitive edge.
What are the main differences?
Yeah, the rules.
The main difference is, I think for me, the main difference is my hands hurt a lot more after the fight.
Right.
Without gloves protecting your hands, I think people misunderstand sometimes the use of gloves. It's not to protect the person receiving the shots. It's the gloves were designed to protect the person delivering the shots. So once you take the gloves out, the hands actually take a good beating, So for me, when I look at it, it's probably the challenge is, in figuring out how much to put on each shot so that, I can budget my hands. I was always the guy who had a lot of hand problems, even in professional boxing. So that's probably been the biggest challenge. Then other things that's different. There's more cuts, but there's cuts in professional boxing. There's more cuts here because, again, knuckle will be kind of like a razor. But from the positive aspect of it, it's less concussive as well because, again, once somebody's hands start hurting, they're not throwing as hard. So they may cut you.
Hit harder with gloves.
Yeah, they hit harder with the gloves. Because I tell people, too, in professional boxing, competition gloves, not in the gym. In the gym, you can wear more padding so you can last longer. But in professional boxing, the gloves are padded just enough to protect your hands, but not padded enough to protect the receiver of the shot. Because in professional boxing, you're paying for damage as well. So they want people to get hurt. So you can load up heavy punches consistently, while in bare knuckle, you really can't. The one complication I felt like I had last fight that is probably more of a risk than it is in professional boxing, and I think this is the one thing that's probably more of a risk because I think professional boxing is probably more dangerous than bare knuckle boxing, but I think the eye pokes. You don't have to deal with that in professional boxing. The eye pokes are sort of a wild card on their own because, the eye is a very delicate organ and doesn't take a lot to really ruin it.
Are we talking deliberate or inadvertent?
I mean... right? I mean, it's supposed to be inadvertent, but I sometimes think they're advertent, But
so the refs at that point should step in, though. Do they dock points for that?
They can, but sometimes it's very hard to figure out if it was the intent or not. I've spoken to the presidents of BKB, and I've thought that there should be some sort of instant replay, sort of like VAR in football, and maybe between rounds the referee can have a look at the eye poke that happened in the previous round, and maybe decide the intent. And if there was intent, then you lose an automatic point. Because if there's just a warning before you lose a point every time, somebody will take a warning to give you an eye poke because it can ruin your vision for the rest of the fight. So I think if you go straight to the points taken away, if you can read the intent, I think it has to be the discretion of the referee. Unlike VAR, where VAR somebody's in the studio telling them, it's contact or no contact. I think there has to be a judgment as far as was there enough contact in VAR, for example. Was there enough contact for a penalty kick or not? I don't believe just contact should be a penalty kick or not. I think this discretion should be, was there enough contact to merit that? And while here in this situation, I think we'll call it a VAR as well. We could say, give the referee the discretion, okay, was that eye poke intentional? Was the open hands intentional? Or was it an accident? And I think that will go a long way in maybe helping the rule a little bit.
You're over here for a big event at the O2, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, big Bridgerweight World Championship, and in BKB, Marco Martignac taking on Ike Villanueva. It's a really, really great fight. Bridgerweight is the one right below the heavyweight division. So two big guys, two guys have done very well in BKB, and I think it's an action fight. It's at the O2 Indigo, a big card of BKB fights.
You mentioned the cuts. Does that mean often you have a bit of time between bouts as you're getting overcuts. You got a nasty one a while back, didn't you?
Yeah. I've actually still got the scars to show it here. I had the nasty one in October. You know what? So at 45 years old, I decided, we're not going to be a model, have a modeling career anyway at this point, right? So, maybe when I was younger, these scars would have maybe bothered me a little bit more, but I'm not too worried about it at this point in my life. I think that, I'd rather get this last adrenaline rush for the little bit of time.
Yeah,
that
you
I
must still love fighting, otherwise why would you do it?
Yeah, I love it, and I love accomplishing too. It's not just I love a challenge, but I love the sense of accomplishment as well. If I wouldn't be good enough to accomplish anything, it would be beaten out of me, and also you would lose the love for it. But the chance to accomplish something, I'm penciled in to fight May 16th for the BKB World Championship at my weight class. So I hope that that can be successful, and that would be again another accomplishment to go along with my accomplishments in professional boxing.
Carl Frutch a little while ago saying that had it been popular, he thinks he would have got into it earlier.
Carl was a tough guy, so I have no doubt Carl would have not only done it but probably done well in it. Carl knew how to fight very well, and Carl had that toughness standard to him as well that I think would transcend in BKB.
I'm not sure John Fury thinks that.
No, not today.
Well, John Fury did it maybe in a not organized way. Yeah,
he did it with being more in the kind of different way. So we've discovered today that Mayweather and Tyson are going to get it on. Floyd and Tyson in DR Congo in April.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Is that what's happening now? I had just heard that Mayweather was going to do an exhibition or a boxing match with Mike Zambitis, the former kickboxer. Mike Zambitis in Greece in June. So now it's going to be Tyson in Congo?
It's an exhibition. I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable. I've always thought like veterans boxing just doesn't. I mean, I know it's an exhibition.
No, I think it's a little. With Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Mike Tyson is, I don't know what kind of condition he's in. That leaves you a little bit to worry about, because we already saw Mike with Jake. How much was there much left, and so at this age, you're only a human being, and a human being's only going to have so much left in their 60s,
Yeah. I mean, maybe you and Amir Khan can get it back on again.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think I saw enough of Amir already. I don't know about that, But I think I had also heard Mayweather was doing something with Mike Zambitis in June, he's a former kickboxing champion in Greece as well. Okay. So he's just lining them up, I guess. I'll take a stab at him.
You can't need the money,
I'll take a stab at him.
He loves money, as we know, and it's easy money, isn't it? I mean, the people are saying, I'm not watching that, but they probably will.
I mean, I think today there's a bit of a curiosity about seeing the heroes of yesteryear compete again, and so there's always a little bit of a watchful eye.
Yeah.
And I think that was proven when Jake did it against Mike Tyson. Everybody wanted to wake up the morning of a Mike Tyson fight. I remember what that was like. I'm sure you guys do the morning of a Mike Tyson fight in Mike Tyson's prime. You wake up that morning like, oh my goodness, Mike's fighting tonight,
Yeah.
And I don't think you quite got the same thing with Jake and Mike Tyson, but I think the new generation wanted to feel like, hey, I've gotten to wake up the morning of a Mike Tyson fight as well. I think that's why that sold. So in this regard, maybe that is a little bit of an effect like that when it comes to Mayweather. I'm not sure, but I can't say anything because guys, I'm still here doing it myself and in BKB.
It's very interesting for Tyson Fury to say what he said yesterday, that it was the terrible car accident Anthony Joshua was involved in, lost two of his friends tragically, that kind of brought him back to boxing. That thing of life's too short. It's made him sort of reevaluate life a bit.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think tragedies like that will make everyone have a certain perspective on things. And for Fury, it was if you're thinking about doing something, you don't waste time doing it because you may not get a chance to do it for one reason or another. And that's not necessarily maybe I wouldn't say necessarily you apply it to fighting. You can apply that to pretty much anything.
Sure.
If something,
I mean, it's equally a reason never to fight again, isn't it? I want to be healthy and I want to be.
Yeah.
But I think he feels like
there is unfinished business.
Yeah, and him
and Joshua they've got to meet.
I think that's the fight that people would like to see when Anthony Joshua feels he's ready to gear up again to that extent. But I mean, he is a great character. I think he is good for boxing.
He's a lightning rod figure, and I think people are always going to gravitate to him. And I think that's why Netflix took the contract to show the fight. Because not Netflix does fights, but they don't do a lot of fights.
No.
So when Netflix is choosing you to get involved with your fight. It shows the position you have, the standard you have, the brand that you have, the image you represent in professional boxing. So
they're doing more though, aren't they? I mean, I think
they are starting to do more
increasingly, and it brings boxing because often then it is effectively behind a paywall, but most people have got Netflix, so it's more eyes on it in a lot of ways.
I'll tell you what, I mean, Netflix is behind a paywall. It's not quite what Ben Shalom and Boxer are doing at BBC, for example.
Yeah,
they're on
their terrestrial TV. Yeah,
but Netflix can maybe be the next best thing. And honestly, at this point in time, and everybody does have Netflix,
and you can get it for nothing if you remember the ads.
And this is also maybe the first real boxing match, between two real fighters. Because before it's kind of been Jake against somebody, Jake Paul against somebody or whatever, and they've bought that. This is kind of the return of Tyson Fury, and he's taken on a decent. A level opponent as well. So Netflix starting to move the goalposts a little bit and starting to move into the legitimate side of boxing a little bit. I don't mind it. I like to see more of it.
Well, Paulie, good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Paulie's going to be part of BKB 51 live from the O2. It's going to be live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel from 5:30 this Saturday. You'll be able to keep up with that. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Dean Edwards, the chef, and plays a bit of football as well, will be joining us for a chat very shortly. We're here with Tool Station. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Tool Station.
I don't think they're close to the teams of the past, by the way. They're not anywhere near the teams of the past.
They're miles off. But what he's doing what he's required to get this group of players to the level that he needs them at, right? And that's Martin's style of management, encouragement, positive reinforcement, positive projection of mental imagery. I wanted to ask you about the chaos that we are talking about in Scottish football and the conventional wisdom thrown out the door. You've got Brendan Rodgers going out the door causing mayhem, Dermot Desmond filling him in. You've got Rangers bringing a manager in that falls apart and the descent there. You've got Hearts in the mix. Is all this good? Because it's drawn my attention to Scottish football. It's drawn lots of people. Is this good for the product?
Yes, I think so. If you look at yesterday, Simon, there was a big hole in the schedule at Sky Sports because they don't have the FA Cup.
Yep.
And those two games went on, and I thought they were. You're right about the quality of the Kilmarnock Celtic game. It was a different kind of game from Rangers Hearts.
Yeah.
But you've got 11 goals. There's no VAR controversy. End-to-end games. I think it was great. I think Hearts coming into the midst of the chaos at Rangers and Celtic, with Tony Bloom giving them stability and a real leg up, has been great for the game. I think Motherwell in fourth place, taking points off all of them, has been terrific for the game. Anything that stops us being a 1 or 2 horse race has got to be a good thing.
Yeah, good. I agree as well.
So Bill, you don't have an allegiance to Rangers or Celtic. So would you?
Or Hearts.
Hearts. So would it not be better for Scottish football for Hearts to win this, really?
Yes,
massively.
Absolutely.
I think...
So with no skin in the game, I'd have thought that would have been the team you'd have gone for. Because
I've said all along from the start of the season, I've been writing that I hope Hearts win it.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Coming up a little bit later on, what else have we got for you today? Oh, yeah, we're going to be finding out more about Timothy Chalamet's football career. He could have been he was pretty decent.
Who knew? I didn't know this.
Yeah,
You revealed it to me.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And he once played in a competitive game against Joe Gomez when he was at Charlton for the team he was playing for. I think in the States, or was it in France? Anyway, we'll find out a bit more later on. And David Aboy is going to join us. He plays for Carlo United, and he scored a Messi-like goal that could be a contender for the Puskás Award, best goal of the year. Before that, though, it is Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Day. And joining us now for a chat about that and the way we like to eat our pancakes is Dean Edwards, MasterChef finalist, man who plays a bit of football along the way, celebrity football. Good afternoon, Dean.
Good afternoon. Well, before I talk everything Pancake, I have to say thank you for having me on my favourite radio station.
Oh, it's a great pleasure. I mean,
clip that.
Yeah, we know you. Yeah, so you've turned out in celebrity matches and stuff. But have you got a team you follow particularly or not?
Well, unfortunately for my sins, I'm a Bristol City fan. So
okay, you're doing all right.
We're doing all right this season. Actually, it's the best season we've had for a long, long time. But we are probably the most inconsistent team in league football. It drives us nuts.
Yeah. Wrexham tonight, so we're going to keep you in touch with that one.
Big game.
Now, I'm very much, myself and the producer were chatting earlier on, we are very much traditionalists. We're a bit of lemon, bit of sugar on the pancakes, but we know people are far more adventurous than Andy, you're a bit more adventurous.
Bit of a maple syrup, but, I can see the traditional, the benefits of the traditional, slightly gritty, slightly lemony.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That takes me back to when my mum used to make them for us on Pancake Day when I was a kid, so that's how I think of them.
Yeah, and that was the same for me. I think back in the day, Pancake Day was what actually really ignited my love of cooking, because it was the first time I was introduced to cooking in the kitchen where I had a choice. So it's such a nice, easy recipe that you can take part in the actual cooking of the pancake, but then it was all about making your choices in terms of toppings. And I think that's where it gets a little bit exciting. And I am a big fan of bringing nostalgia back to cooking. So for me, this is why Pancake Day is something that I love, and it's a tradition in our household where we get the whole family involved, and it's as simple as knocking up a pancake batter. Now, are you two any good at cooking? This is what I want to know, and if not,
Andy's better than me. Andy's the guy.
I am. I can cook most.
What's your flipping skills like, Andy, with a pancake?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, that's your problem, tossing. And also this thing where it used to say that you should throw the first one away. Is that right? Is that rubbish?
Really? Only if you've dropped it on the floor.
Because it never comes out. The first one never comes out quite how you want it. But I don't know.
Well, for me, I don't like chucking away food. We're a bit tight down in Bristol, so nothing goes to waste. But the first one is actually a key pancake, because that's where you get the temperature right. So you want a medium to high heat. And the pancake's probably going to take around 1 to 2 minutes per side to kind of cook through. So the first one is to get the temperature right. The second one should be perfect. So once you've got your pancake batter into the pan, the key is to leave it. Okay? You want to wait for it to start bubbling up. And as soon as you see the bubbles and you start to see that pancake coming around from the pan, pick it up, give it a little bit of a toss around the pan. Once it's free, it's time to flip then. Now, in our household, it's a little bit of a competition. So this is where we have the fun. It gets tossed 5-6 foot up in the air. 9 times out of 10, if my daughter's doing it, it ends up on the ceiling or the floor.
Yeah, that's the one.
Ideally, if you want to just get professional with it, it's only a flick of the wrist. And it only needs to go 5-6 inches up in the air. So you want to take it from the cooked side to the uncooked. So flip it over, let it do its thing for another minute, and you're ready to go. But I do have a great tip. If it does all go wrong and the pancakes look terrible, then what you can do, this is something I've seen on social media, which is absolutely brilliant. You can make pancake spaghetti. Oh. Now, I know that sounds weird, but all you do is you roll your pancake up nice and tight, use a knife and cut it into little strips. Almost you want to resemble like kind of as fine as linguine pasta. Get that into a bowl. And then for me, it's all about pouring over some pure Canadian maple syrup, get some bacon crumbs on the top, that lovely texture and saltiness. But the kids, just let them do their thing. Let them go wild with fruit, chocolate, whatever they want to pop on there.
You brought in the savoury, which allows us to, because the Trump, it's quite triggering, the pancake, for people that have worked at talkSPORT for a long time, because Ian Abrahams, who used to read the news
The
here.
Moose.
The Moose, indeed. The
Well,
Moose.
they love you for knowing.
Oh, yeah. Now, the Moose used to bring in tuna pancakes from home.
That is disgusting.
And he would then put them in the microwave in the talkSPORT offices.
Even Moose admitted in his Twitter post this morning that he'd put too much mayonnaise in there. If you're watching on Connect TV.
So that's going in the micro apparently after that, and he used to stink the kitchen out. And the kitchen was kind of the green room in one of our first studios. So you'd have all the stars coming in to be interviewed, and him, everything smelt of copy decks as he used to warm up the tuna pancake. So it's a bit triggering for us.
Well, let me tell you, I know Moose from a few of the charity games. He was doing some commentating and he's absolutely electric. But let me tell you, the mayonnaise in that is the least of the Moose's problems. That looks absolutely shocking.
Yeah, the pancakes, they look like Yorkshires, didn't they?
I think the thing is, because you're talking about here making crepe style, very thin pancakes. Of course, the American... I prefer those, but the American pancakes are completely different.
Quite doughy, a bit thicker.
Yeah. And the Japanese pancake is even another thing that is...
What's the Japanese pancake like?
Do you know this thing? They're really weird. They're like a sort of pillow. They're massive.
They're very light and fluffy, and they're actually really tricky to make. The American style actually is not too bad. It's basically you use self-raising flour, buttermilk, and bicarb, and it's just the reaction within the enzymes in the bicarb, it basically is the rising agent, and that is what makes them so nice and fluffy. Now they go into a pan and they have to be flipped with a spatula, so it's you don't get that flipping action that you would in a traditional crepe or pancake. But I mean, they've all got their place, and traditionally, obviously, the more fluffy buttermilk pancakes paired up with fried chicken and maple syrup, so you can take them off in any sort of direction.
Yeah. Well, you've got us right in the mood now. I bet there was a lot of listeners saying, I don't think I'll bother tonight. I bet they do now.
Yeah, I am.
They're suddenly right into it. Good to talk to you, Dean. You got any more games coming up?
Oh, do you know what? I've pretty much retired. I'm 49 years old, and the last game I played, I was walking like RoboCop for a week after, and I thought, it's time to let it go.
Oh, well. Good to talk to you anyway. All the best. Thanks very much, Dean.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much.
Dean Edwards there, MasterChef finalist, with all those little tips there for Pancake. You can still smell that. He did. It was like carpet glue.
Yeah.
He would have stunk. Imagine it, Lord Sugar's sitting there waiting to come on the show. What's that smell? Yeah, I mean, tell me about it. He used to stink the place out.
Not great.
Anyway, I wonder if he's ever given, because we saw him at the press conference with Mikel Arteta earlier on. I wonder if he's ever given Mikel one of his tuna pancakes.
I don't think so.
Not on the bench tonight. Basically, doing the game from the loo. David Aboy going to join us. Carlisle United scored a wonder goal. Could it be the Puskás Award winner? Interesting piece in the Telegraph today suggesting that even if they don't go down, Tottenham have done themselves a bit of financial damage by even flirting with relegation. And Timothy Chalamet, Hollywood star, quite possibly Oscar winner off the back of Marty Supreme. Fantastic in that. He's waiting for that to come up. But was a decent footballer in his day, both in France and the States. Tom Burrows from The Athletic has done a real deep dive into his football career, and we'll be catching up with him before 4 o'clock.
Listen, I just think you need to put more respect on Virgil van Dijk. I'm not being a Liverpool fan. I'm saying as a player, when my eyes see things, my eyes see defenders, you need to respect Virgil van Dijk. If you look at both of the games, you tell me what's better. Terry, what can he do better than Van Dijk as a player? Forget about what they've won and how long they've been playing in the Premier League. What can John Terry do that is better than Virgil van Dijk? Because it's not one-on-one defending, for starters.
Oh, mate.
Oh, God. Let me get out of here.
Jermaine, what are you on about? John Terry can do everything Van Dijk can do. Everything.
I'm saying better, to be a better player.
I'm going to go to Jonathan as a Chelsea fan.
Okay.
Jonathan.
Oh, come on. Like a Chelsea fan's going to back me up.
Jonathan?
Hey, Jeremy O'Hara.
How are you, John? Spurs are back.
Not too bad, man. How you guys doing?
I'm all right. You?
Good. I'm doing all right. I mean, what is at the Chelsea? What's Jeremy saying? Jeremy, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying?
Okay,
Look, I love listening to you. I've been listening to you all the time, but this has really triggered me. It triggered me to call. I've not been calling. I'm a listener, but today I said I'd call and, speak something.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. Vitor Pereira is backing himself to keep Forest in the Premier League, just as he did with Wolves last season.
I think I can help. I came to give my body and my soul to this club, to help the club, and together we can do it.
The Portuguese admits it's not easy, but he believes they can get points, results and quality in the remaining games. Next up for Forest, Fenerbahce away in the Europa Conference League playoffs, a game you can hear live over on talkSPORT 2. Next, Leah Williamson returns to the Lionesses squad for the first time since the Euros, ahead of facing Ukraine and Iceland in World Cup qualifying. Serena Wiegman says she's keeping a close eye on her captain as she comes back from knee surgery.
I'm in close contact with her, I'm in close contact with Klopp, and she's in a good place, but yes, she has a little bit lack of minutes. I think there's some more players who are still building or didn't get the minutes we hoped for. That's also one of the reasons why we go with a bigger squad.
Lauren James, Hannah Hampton and Alex Greenwood also return, while United midfielder Ella Toone misses out because of a hip injury. The Scottish FA have announced Steve Clarke and his players will be based in Charlotte, North Carolina for the duration of the World Cup. The base is in between Boston and Miami, where Scotland's group games take place. And despite his sending off at Murrayfield, Henry Arundel starts for England against Ireland at the weekend. Ollie Lawrence, Tom Curry and Henry Pollock come into the squad, with Tommy Freeman moving to the wing. Jack Van Portfleet and Marcus Smith are named among the replacements, while Mauro Itoje is in line for his 100th England cap. Plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Nigel Farage picks out 2 former Tories to make up his top team, and tributes keep coming in for Jesse Jackson, who's being remembered as a giant of the US civil rights movement. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Get a free vehicle safety check at all of our 600 centres nationwide to keep you safe on the road. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Brighter for many of us this afternoon, but rain is on the way to southwestern parts a bit later.
Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paul Hawksbee and Haji Jacobs here on talkSPORT. A little bit later on in this hour, we're going to find out more about Timothy Chalamet, the Hollywood star's football career, both in France and in the States. Who knew that he wasn't a bad midfielder and not a bad keeper till the goals got bigger than he did? Which can happen a lot, actually, in junior football. But anyway, before all of that, we've got a Paddy Power bet builder for you. We normally do these down the line with the Paddy Power team. But Lewis Richards has joined us in the studio. Lewis, good afternoon. Good to see you.
Afternoon, guys.
Nice to see you in the flesh.
Happy to be here.
So we're gonna look at some other odds around the.
Could have made you go inside and do it on the phone.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, imagine being there and just here.
Go on.
So we're going to look at the Champions League game tonight between Monaco and PSG.
Yeah,
so it's probably worth, as always, explaining how the Bet Builder works.
Yeah. So for anyone new to the Bet Builder, just think of it as your classic ACCA. But instead of picking different teams to win their games, you're picking multiple different outcomes, player shots on target, cards, fouls, etc., all in the one game. Putting it all together to make a Bet Builder.
So I've gone cards to kick us off because I just think it will be a bit tasty because it's a domestic stuff. There's a lot at stake. So I've gone over 3.5 cards.
I'm excited for this one. Do you know how many cards Monaco have picked up in their last 5 games?
No.
14 cards.
Well, that bodes well.
They are pretty foul happy at the moment.
And they'll have a lot of PSG players running at them, etc.
Well, of course, adding PSG as well, and you can only imagine what's going to happen tonight. The bonus on top of that as well is that the ref apparently has a career average of 5 cards, or just over 5 cards a game.
I just bet on that on itself.
Yeah. Singles.
I don't think it'll be stunning odds based on those stats, will it? Really?
It's over even money.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Money, so it's not bad.
Not bad.
I imagine another popular bet, Andy. You've gone with.
Yeah, Ousmane Dembele to have 2 or more shots. He's been pretty critical of his teammates, and so he'll want to show these.
It's just short of.
He's a great player anyway.
It's just short of odds against, but you're right. Like if PSG are going to win tonight, they're going to need him to be there. And he's averaging just over 2 shots on target at the moment a game. He's got 11 in his last 5, adding those 3 goals as well. So,
okay, let's hope.
Producer Sean has gone for a PSG win. I wouldn't be at all surprised if this first leg is a draw, but. I think anybody's going to win it, it's probably going to be PSG.
Yeah, and the odds are showing that as well. Well, odds on.
Yeah.
What's interesting is Monaco over their last 5 games. I don't think they've played anyone with the calibre of PSG, but they've managed to have 3 shutouts. So I wouldn't go against you completely by saying the draw. But should PSG really be here? When we look at it, I know that those results were there, but should they be here?
Well, I say it didn't do them any harm last year when they went and won it from this position, didn't they?
Yeah, they're not the team they were, though, this time last year. They've played so much football. They had that World Cup in the summer, that Club World Cup. And,
you would normally say they had the depth of squad to deal with 2 extra games, and because they normally run away with the title, but they could have done without this, I would imagine.
Their last 3 results was a loss against Sporting Lisbon, draw against Athletic Club, and then the draw against Newcastle, which I think they should have won.
Yeah.
So that forms against them in the Champions League, their last 3, but very much odds against tonight.
The people, one of the more popular bets with the Paddy punters, and I think this is a good one as well, is both teams to score.
Yeah, this one's, as I said, the Monaco with the 3 shutouts. PSG have scored in all their last 5. I think they've scored quite a few goals. Whereas Monaco have managed to keep those 3 shutouts. But if you're Monaco, do you need to win tonight? Are you going to go to PSG?
You could do with a lead.
Yeah. So Monaco are bound to leave themselves empty at the back a couple of times. So there is room there for PSG to get in, you'd think. So both teams to score.
And you've done a sort of development of Andy's choice, haven't you, really? You fancy Dembele to actually score tonight?
I've had 3 goals in his last 5. He's their biggest threat, as we've said already. So I'm quite happy to go along with yours.
Lewis,
and then say he's going to get a goal as well.
So if this all comes off cumulatively, what are we looking at then?
We are looking at total odds today of just over 8.5 to 1. So we're looking at around £86 to the Attitude Foundation if we can get this one in.
Good stuff.
Okay.
So there we are. That's Paddy's Bet Builder. We're going to look at some other odds while we've got you in. The Champions League outrights. We were talking to Kevin Hatchard earlier on, talking about the dominance of the Premier League clubs and whether that's going to, when it goes down at the wire, will it be a Premier League club that win it? Will it be Bayern? Will it be Barca? So what's all the latest betting on that?
Yeah, so let's have a look at the top ones. We have Arsenal favourites. Can you believe? Okay. They are doing well. But
well, yeah, I can.
They'd be there 7-2 favourites. You got Bayern Munich at 4-1, Man City, Barcelona at 13-2, PSG at 15-2, and then my hopefuls Liverpool at 9-1. They're a bit up and down in the Premier League, but Liverpool in Champions League.
Don't rule out Spurs and Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. What are Spurs and Chelsea for?
Don't rule out Spurs. 28-1 for Spurs, and then 16s for Chelsea. Spurs, really?
Chelsea beat a lot of teams in the World Club Cup. I mean, they're that sort of team that they could go out in the next round, or they could get to the final. They could.
At the start of the season, I had a couple of quid on Spurs to win the Champions League, just to basically throw money down the drain. But I got 40. I got 40 to 1 at that point before we'd kicked the ball.
That's good.
So clearly we're coming in. People rate our chances.
They perform well in Europe.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a bit easier to win the Europa League than it is the Champions League. Really.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
Just
I wonder an all Premier League final. We don't know the odds for that, Lewis? Do we? I mean,
not off the top of my head, but we can certainly look at it for the next show.
You'd be massively surprised if it was City and Arsenal again.
Well, what was it? Was it 4 or 5 that automatically qualified in the top 8? Was it 4?
Yeah.
5 out of the 6 teams, I think, are in the top 8.
I think, that was, exactly.
Only Newcastle are in the playoffs.
That's everybody else has gone.
That shows you everything.
Producers in my ear saying, what about Arsenal for the quadruple? He never gets he's an Arsenal fan. I don't care.
About 40 to 1, isn't it? Something massive like that.
Say again?
Is it about 40 to 1 Arsenal for the quadruple?
It's 25s.
Oh, let's drop.
25.
To win all 4 things.
I mean, it's a bit like Arsenal this season, because they were like 6 points clear of a game and out, and then all of a sudden I think it's 4 points level game.
Well, they're playing Wolves tomorrow night, of course, so they could go back to 7.
Yeah,
true.
And they're already in one final. Yeah. They've got a nice, easy draw for the next round, so they probably go through there.
But I remember Liverpool talking about quadruples, and I think in that year we did FA Cup and League Cup.
And they're getting a few injuries, and it's going to be hard to do all 4.
Injuries won't help, and then Arsenal win the Champions League if they come across a Barcelona or Bayern Munich. The history's not really on their side, is it?
Just very quickly on the Premier League outrights. I mean, have City come in a fair bit, have they?
Yeah, I don't know how big they were before, but from our point of view, it's a 2-horse race. You're looking at Man City at 9-4, and then after that, you're looking at Arsenal at 10-3 on.
And there's nobody else in the frame after that.
There's only Villa, isn't there?
No, you got surprisingly Man United after their resurgence at 4-5. They are 80 to 1 with Aston Villa.
Right.
So
I mean, you'd expect United to be in the top 4, could even be higher. Yeah, but winning it.
You don't know, I'll be throwing it on. You haven't got the relegation odds. I mean, I find myself these days looking at the bottom of the table, unfortunately, as a Tottenham fan. So I'm interested to know who are favourites to be relegated.
So obviously you've got Burnley, 500 to 1 on. West Ham are also odds on, 4-7.
Okay.
Really?
And then it gets interesting. So you've got Nottingham Forest at 11-4, Spurs 13-2. So, what did you say you took for them to win the
Champions League? 40 to 1.
So to get relegated 6.5 to 1. Our season can change.
Yeah.
And then you look at Leeds 10 to 1 and Crystal Palace 16.
And no one else is really in the frame. Nobody else is going to get sucked in at this stage. With 12 games left. You wouldn't think so.
I mean, it is tight down there, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spurs are fighting to it. It's
Brighton,
funny to talk about.
Brighton are getting kind of, it's unlikely, but Brighton are kind of getting sucked into it in a way that you wouldn't have expected. So
I think with those, because what's that, 20th and 19th are quite far up, right? It's 18th, which I think is far.
Whereas last year there were 3 very poor teams, and you could be poor, as Tottenham were in the league, and get away with it, but not the case, not with West Ham's resurgence.
And unfortunately, Tottenham don't have a Europa League Cup to fall back on,
No, that Champions League and my 40 to 1 pays out. I'll remind you of that. I'll take that off for Paddy. Fantastic.
Best of luck with that.
Yeah. Lewis, good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
And you guys, thank you very much for having me.
So there we are, looking at all the odds, but predominantly we looked at that bet builder. That was Paddy's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg, 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Haji, morning to you. Congratulations.
Well done, Haji.
Morning. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Very
we're
well,
really
thank
good,
you.
but you must be absolutely over the moon. I mean, how big a... We'll talk about the hat-trick in a moment, but how big a win for Coventry was that?
Super important. First versus second, top of the table clash. It was important to see who could come out on the end, and I'm happy we were able to take 3 points home.
Haji, what about the start of the game? I mean, you're unlucky yourself. Good header downwards, hit the post, go back. I mean, the boys looked really fired up, as you would expect for a game of that importance.
Yeah, 100%. We were prepared well throughout the week in training. We knew exactly what we wanted to do, so we just came to the stadium and tried to execute.
Yeah. Well, as a team, you executed, and you personally executed brilliantly as well. How many hat-tricks in your career?
3.
Three. Is that the most important of them?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
I love that. So far.
I was going to say, you wouldn't have heard just before you came on, Haji, I mentioned the fact, terrific result. I wouldn't say it was a must-win game, but with Borough on a great run and yourselves maybe slipping ever so slightly, it was certainly a very important game, but no time to rest. West Brom away, Sheffield United away. It is one tough league, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Games come thick and fast. And like you said, it is just 3 points at the end of the day. It wasn't 100% must win, but still we're happy with the 3 points. But yeah, on to West Brom now.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Andy Goldstein joined by Gabby Agbon-Lahore. For Drive, we're around the grounds from 7 with Adrian Durham, both in Europe and, of course, domestically with games in the EFL. And you can get your calls after tonight's matches and more in the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy at 10. Vitor Pereira has been speaking for the first time as the Nottingham Forest manager. Let's hear what he had to say.
For sure, I did mistakes and the club, and what I want to say is it was a fantastic experience for me. I respect a lot because they make me feel as a family, and I don't come here. I will not come here to speak about mistakes makes part of life. We know we need to learn with the mistakes, and move on, move forward. This is What I want to say about this league is that this is a league that you must have everything to compete in this league, because the level of this league don't give you time to delay decisions. You understand? If you delay decisions, in the end you will pay the bill.
Yeah, reflecting on his time at Forest. At Wolves.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be at Forest for several seasons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that relationship with the Wolves fans was great when they're all up the pub together, but it doesn't take much for these things to unravel.
I was disappointed that it went wrong, yeah. But was it his fault? You know, they sold their two best players. It's not easy, is it? You know, I mean, Cunha and Aït-Nouri, you know, they were a big part of what Wolves were doing.
Whatever you feel about the guys that have gone as men, I just think that both teams, both Spurs and Forest, have maybe given themselves a better chance of staying up by making the call now. You could argue that
maybe
in Tottenham's case they could have made it a little bit earlier.
I think West Ham have given themselves the best chance by some very good recruitment.
Yeah,
January.
That was you're right. That was a punt. You know, you never quite know when you're signing players from overseas. They're going to hit the ground running, but the new boys have looked good, haven't they? Yeah. It's really tight there, and that's the thing. I mean, the amount of people keep saying, "Oh no, Tottenham will be fine." I think, based on what exactly? It's going to be tough, you know.
It's all about how many points you need to stay up. That'll be the thing.
Yeah,
you know, it's going to be fascinating. Well, not if you're involved in it. It's quite worrying. I remember when Chelsea were flirting with it a couple of years ago. You know,
a couple of years.
Well,
ago.
You know, when the ownership changed and they lost about 10 games in a row under Lampard and Potter and all. It starts to get to you, you know. It's not a nice feeling. So I do have sympathy.
Okay.
Here's a good bloke there.
Yep.
This is something I got out at the start.
Oh yes.
This is the only person ever to win. Only one person has done this, to win a gold medal at both the Winter and Summer Games.
Oh yeah.
His name. Well, he won. He was a champion at boxing in 1920. And
he's not this games then. That would be impressive.
No,
he's not won one in the snowboarding.
No.
Okay.
He won boxing gold medal in 1920 and the bobsleigh in 1932, 12 years later. Wow. His name was Eddie Egan.
Not Eddie the Egan Egan.
Eddie the Egan Egan.
Oh, dear.
Is what I want to call him.
That's a great name.
It's good, isn't it?
Now, our next guest scored an absolute corker of a goal, but I think it was against Forest Green, wasn't it? For Carlisle. And it's a bit of like a Sonny goal that won the Pushkas Award. It's like starting basically in your own 18-yard box just outside and slaloming.
What a run.
Right through the pitch. If you're watching on YouTube or connected TV, you'll be able to see the goal.
It's amazing that no one brought him down, though.
Well, someone
try at
there's
the
a
end
couple of quite agricultural tackles, but they can't stop it.
Well done.
The Carlisle fans and others have been enjoying it, putting on messy soundtracks, Argentinian
that's good
commentaries. David Aboy, the front man for Carlisle, joins us. Hi, David.
Hi, you all right?
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations.
That's nice getting the Messi treatment, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say quite messy, but it's nice to hear it. Yeah,
it's one of the old classic commentaries.
I mean, so talk us through. I mean, basically, you pick the ball up just outside your own area, and then you start on a run. I mean, you must have thought somebody's
going to kick me up in the air in a minute.
Yeah. Well, when I got the pass and checked my shoulder to see that no one's behind me, I just thought, get them on a counter attack, drive. Then I thought, I need to release it here, but I just got the opportunity to beat another man and another man, and then it was just the keeper left, and I'm just happy I scored it.
There's not many points. It's only towards the end you could sort of put it left, couldn't you? There's one opportunity there, but beyond that, there's not a lot of it. You know, no one's screaming for the ball. There's no better man waiting to receive the ball really until you get to the end. So I think you made the right call.
Yeah, well, I think I made the right call because it ended in a goal.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
Was anybody screaming for it? Everybody shouting pass, Dave, or not?
I think people were, but sometimes when you're just on a run like that, it's like you're tunnel vision and just got the end goal of just driving forward.
There is a challenge that goes in, and the lad tries to kind of hook his foot round. He goes to the ground and lifts the foot up, so he's trying to take you out. But that was about as close as they came to stopping you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt a hand on my shoulder, and then obviously the challenge, which they nearly got, but luckily I just got a toe in front of it and kept on going.
The beauty of the beauty of the Puskás Award is, of course, that it doesn't always go to a goal often doesn't go to a goal in the top level. So you've got a chance.
It's true. They judge it. I think isn't it a vote? I think it's a vote as well. So it's. There's been some fantastic winners over the years. So I think you've got a fighting chance. Hopefully, it will get shortlisted, David.
Well, if I do, I'll be honoured.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some do it, isn't there? Where is it?
They do it as part of the FIFA awards, don't they? It's on the same night. The thing is that for the Sonny goal that he scored against Burnley, which I was fortunate enough to be at, Jan Vertonghen still says, well, I got the assist. He gets the assist for that, for basically sort of tapping it a yard to him on the edge of the box. So who's claiming the assist for yours? Who was the last of your teammates to touch it?
Yeah, it was Josh Williams. He said it was a perfect way to pass.
It just basically all you had to do was run onto it and then just keep running.
Yeah, all I had to do was tap it in, really.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So it's gone nice and viral, isn't it? A lot. That's how we sort of came across it. So you must be chuffed. It's great. I'm looking at the video. I've got quite a low grade video, so I think we could do with an HD version of it. I don't know if anybody's got a better one, but no, it must.
I'm sure the club can get you sent one.
Yeah, that'll be nice. We'll play that on loop. Well, I heard your name come up. I remembered you because our own Adrian Durham is a posh fan. I remember you from your time at Peterborough. You spent a good few years, didn't you?
Yeah, I was 3 years there.
Happy times?
Yeah, second season was good. We won at Wembley and we made it into the playoffs. Unfortunately, didn't get to Wembley and go up, but it was a good season, yeah. And
as a Bromley lad, do you like living up in Carlisle, enjoying it up there?
It's far, but it's not a bad area. I'm actually enjoying it quite well, to be fair.
Good. Well, look, it's a brilliant goal. Hopefully, if people I can't see it on YouTube, they can go and check it out. It's all over social media, and you can enjoy it with the messy commentary. Fantastic. Good to talk to you, David. All the best.
Thank you. Cheers.
David Aboy there from Carlisle United. Go and check out his goal against
it'd be nice
Forest Green.
Nominated, it'd be even better.
It would be. It would be good. Anyway, Scotland are playing Nepal. And Nepal have just started their reply to Scotland's total. Let's see how Scotland got on. Sam Ellard's been watching for talkSPORT.
They were asked to bat first, Paul, from their 20 overs, 170 for 7, which on paper maybe looks like a decent score, but they got themselves into a couple of really good positions. They were 80 for 1 after 9 and 131 for 1 after 15. Nepal did really well at the back end of the innings to take wickets and restrict the score to way under 200. Like Scotland was set to post around 200. Once again, the two openers got them off to a good start. Jones top scored. He made 71 from just 45 balls. Just 9 balls into the Nepal reply, 11 without loss, chasing 171. Unfortunately, both of these two sides are out of the T20 World Cup. But a reminder earlier on today, the Ireland-Zimbabwe game, match abandoned without a ball being bowled. That means Zimbabwe go through to Super 8. Australia knocked out. Nepal 9 without loss, chasing 171 for victory.
Sam, we noticed a nasty little accident on the screen. 2 players running to stop the ball, crossing the boundary, went smashing into each other.
Definitely a red card.
Yeah, it was. I mean, 2 kind of proper clash of legs dived into. Are they all right, the guys?
Yeah. It was a nasty impact. But this is something that we've seen happen, unfortunately, more and more often in T20 cricket over the last kind of couple of years. Fielders now are so athletic. When the ball goes up in the air, it's not just let your mate try and catch the ball. It's the other person, the nearest person to that player trying to take the catch. They'll sprint all the way around to try and call it a sort of a relay catch. When a player takes the catch, then throws it back in. So unfortunately, these sort of collisions near the boundary, whether it's trying to dive and stop the ball, whether it's trying to catch the ball on the boundary, they happen more and more often. But both players are up. Both players seem to be okay. If I hear anything further, I'll keep you posted.
Nice one. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Sam Ellar watching Scotland, Nepal in the World Cup, as he said. Bit of a dead rubber, really, but playing for a bit of pride. And we've seen a couple of good shots from the Nepalese batsmen, haven't we? Looking good. Anyway, it's Paul Hawksbee and Haji Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Later on, the football career of Timothée Chalamet, the well-known Hollywood actor, both in France and in the States. Not the plumber. Hello, mate. Yeah, I'll go and get me rods. And before that, though, interesting piece in today's Telegraph talking about Spurs. The headline is Spurs face catastrophic cost of relegation and no Europe. It also hints at the fact that even flirting with relegation could be have a real impact. This is not just true, I suppose. Any big clubs, any big sides that that are expected to be in the top half a dozen or top 8 of the table suddenly find themselves flirting with relegation. It puts you in a difficult situation. Richard Gillis is going to join us from Unofficial Partner. It's a podcast. He had a recent chat with someone very senior on the sponsorship front at Spurs, so we'll see what he makes of it. And then we're going to find out more about Timothy Chalamet and his football career before we hand over to Andy Goldstein and Gabby Agbonlahor at Forward Drive.
Our favourite film that he's done, and the only time, to my knowledge, that he was teamed up with McCoist was in A Shot to Glory.
In the small village of Kilnockie, not much ever changes.
Should try this new invention, Gordon, called a car.
But now,
it is, of course, the recent signing by Kilnockie of Jackie McQuillan,
Scotland's most notorious star soccer player, has been chosen to boost the town's struggling team.
This guy's going to give us the punch we need, Gordon, to make a run at the cup. Don't you want to win a cup?
Teams win the cup, Peter, not prima donnas reminiscing their past glory.
Academy Award winner Robert Duvall, Michael Keaton, and introducing Ally McCoist.
They are all driven, stubborn, selfish, and as competitive as a pack of street dogs.
This is our shot at glory, lads. All right? All right?
A shot at glory.
Now, as if doing a whole film alongside Ali wasn't enough, here's Robert doing some punditry alongside Dougie Donnelly, John Collins, and Ali.
We're now joined by a genuine Hollywood legend, Robert Duvall. Bob, you're very welcome.
Nice
Lovely to
Thank
see
you.
And I hear you're becoming extremely knowledgeable about Scottish football.
Well, I am, but also I'm here to keep next to him, so because you got to keep your tabs on this guy. He'll get away from you.
Tell me
you
about
learned
it.
your line. And he's actually quicker than me. He says you have to lose 20 pounds.
Now, what's this I hear about
great,
you two
great
going
game.
to make
I still haven't got over the Manchester United match yet.
You watched that?
Unbelievable.
We're told Tyson Fury and his dad John cannot take any criticism. John Fury called out Carl Froch for a fight during Tyson's Makhmudov press conference, while Simon Jordan says Tyson is a star who elevates boxing, but he can't cope with anything that isn't direct praise.
I think a real man can take criticism and go, right, I'll tell you what, I will combat your criticism by two things, proving you wrong, but also if your point is wrong, I won't shut you down and ban you because I'm too cowardly to counter your opinion. I will just deal with it and address it.
Tyson Fury fights Russia's Arslanbek Makhmudov at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in April. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest boss Vitor Pereira has been speaking for the first time since his appointment.
I think I can help. I came to give my body and my soul to this club, to help the club, and together we can do it.
He's their fourth permanent manager of the season after Sean Dyche was sacked last week. Forest sit 1 place and 3 points above the relegation zone with 12 games to play. London City Lionesses left-back Poppy Pattinson's got her first senior England call-up. Serena Wiegman's named her 25 for next month's World Cup qualifiers against Ukraine and Iceland. Leah Williamson, Lauren James, Jess Carter, Hannah Hampton and Jess Greenwood are all back from injury. And after Manchester United and Chelsea both deny approaching Jurgen Klopp back in 2024, Jeff Stelling can't see Klopp taking charge of any more club sides.
The only jobs I think would tempt him back into management are of the German national team
Yep.
or the English national
I don't
team.
disagree.
They're the two that I could see him
absolutely
coming back for.
You can get all the latest breaking news at talksport.com.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Just getting a little bit of news through that I was hoping wasn't embargoed, hence asking the producer, can I mention that? We understand here that Bukayo Saka has signed a new 5-year deal for Arsenal. It's not been announced officially by the club, but that's our understanding. I mean, not a massive... Again, he's one of those players, when the club's going well, he's not going to go anywhere else, is he?
No.
I mean, why would he ever want to?
At one time, I think clubs like Real Madrid might have been interested, but
he's got no reason to leave.
No,
has he?
he hasn't.
They've had some good news on the injury front as well.
Also, interesting move playing him in midfield against Wigan.
Yeah, he played at number 10, didn't he? Yeah, that's something they might do a bit more. Yeah,
definitely. Odegaard's out.
Arteta has already said today Calafiori's fine. He was training today, just a bit fatigue. White seems fine. Ben White, Odegaard, no for Wolves, but could play against Spurs, and Havertz a possibility for Wolves. So it seems that a few players are coming back, which I'm absolutely delighted about ahead of Sunday. Talking of which, first game for Igor Tudor as the interim coach of Spurs is Arsenal at the Lane. He has been talking for the first time today. I think he's got his official press conference on Friday, but he spoke to the Tottenham Hotspur Club channel today and talked about how he's going to approach life as the Spurs boss.
Of course, I'm coming here knowing that situation is not easy. There's no time to find excuses. What I said from the first day here, each of us, each of players need to give something more, something extra. It's not enough to just be aware of that. I like to be positive. I like to play offensive football. Of course, that's my first goal I had, that I like to score the goal, but in the same way, for sure, need to give organization in defense. Okay, give the clear structure of the what you want to play.
It's going to be difficult for him because they really have only got 11, 12 fit first team players at the moment. So it's hard enough going into a team that's a bit low on confidence when you've got all your stars to choose from. But it's going to be
hopefully
tough.
The atmosphere will be a bit more.
I think it should be a great atmosphere.
It had got to a point where it was very
well.
It was
just so flat because it was just the same game week after week. Now we're going to talk. I mean, ostensibly about Spurs, but I don't think this is really a Spurs story. It's kind of all big clubs that are expected to be in the top half, if not the top 5 or 6 of the table, suddenly find themselves flirting with relegation. Daily Telegraph. Matt Law's written a piece today. Spurs face catastrophic cost of relegation and no Europe club to miss out on tens of millions even if they stay up. Lost sponsorship deals will deepen their financial hole because they're still paying quite a lot of money, of course, for the new stadium. I thought it was interesting.
That shouldn't count against PSR, though. It shouldn't affect...
I don't think so. It's just... Anyway, let's speak to someone who knows about these things. Richard Gillis is the host of the Unofficial Partner podcast, which is a sports business podcast, and he recently spoke to Ryan Norris, who's the chief revenue officer at Tottenham. It was a really interesting chat. Richard joined. Hi, Richard.
Hey, mate, how are you?
Yeah, we're not too bad, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you've had a chance to read this piece now. It was interesting in your chat, though, with Ryan Norris, even though Tottenham was sinking down the table, he said revenue was going up, interestingly, at the time when he spoke to you, didn't he?
Well, he said it's up 40%, did he, over 3 years? So it's it's the question that it sort of irritates Spurs fans, and I am one of them. But the performance off the field has been exceptional, and which obviously he's not responsible. He's the guy that's trying to get the money in the door. So always you've got that juxtaposition, which we talk about all the time, which is the performance on the field and what the link is. But from their point of view, the money is flowing into Tottenham.
It can't make it easy to have that swagger if you're on the commercial side at Spurs at the moment, to go in and say, you know, we're this, we're that. I mean, we're in the Champions League, and people thinking, yeah, you're also in a relegation dogfight. You know, you're looking for top money. I know their shirt sponsorship's coming up in a few years, so they want to be in the best possible position to land a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a peculiar market as well, so it's quite a difficult one to read, because you're right, AIA has been on the shirt, I think, you know, for a very long time now, and they are going to become the sort of training partner. So they've sort of shifted them over. So that leaves the front of shirt free for Ryan Norris and his team to sell. At the same time, you've got a gambling ban that's coming into the Premier League. So I think you've got about 11 or 12 clubs who are in the same boat looking for front of shirt sponsors. So it's a bad time to be coming to market with a sort of empty shirt. And one of the readings of that is, I think Karen Brady put the number at 40% in terms of the amount of money that gambling brands pay over the odds for the front of shirt. And so when they go away, there's going to be a sort of correction in the marketplace. Now, the slight caveat to that is that they can still be on the sleeve. So what might happen is that gambling brands move to the sleeve, the value of the sleeve goes up and there's a sort of, you know, correction or a downturn in the amount of money that you can get on the front of shirt. So that's a sort of the Spurs' situation in the sort of flow of the other teams as well.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. We were talking about this earlier with Batty Pad. It's the problem gambler isn't somebody that's influenced by what's on the shirt. If somebody bets on Latvian basketball at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, they've got a problem. Those people need help. But for people who just like a bit of a punt, I think some of these rules are very draconian, but that's just my view.
Yes, well, it's interesting they're still on the sleeve. It's like, you know, well, we don't want gambling advertising on shirts, but, actually we do, but it's got to be smaller.
I think I mean, to Andy's point there, I don't know, I would sort of counter slightly in that I think there is a normalisation issue with gambling brands just being around football. I think that's over the course of, you know, 25 years odd, across the way in which Premier League football has been presented, gambling has been absolutely the centre of it. And we're seeing in America now, in terms of the way in which the market sports gambling brands being allowed to advertise there, we were 15, 20 years ahead of that game. And I think the implications have been quite profound.
I was saying earlier on in the week on the show that this could be a wake-up call for ENIC, because the way football has been, you know, a club like Tottenham could kind of coast, could tread water. They'd have good seasons when they had a good manager and good players like Kane and Son, and they could get into positions where they were in Europe and they were challenging at points for the title. But, you know, if you make a certain level of commitment financially to the team, but you can still tread water, you're never going to be in any trouble. You'll always be in the top 6, 8, 10. But it's getting harder. Andy's always making the point. Everybody's got money. Everybody's got good recruitment. Everybody's got good coaches. So it's become harder. You cannot tread water anymore in the Premier League. And I think this is a result, what's happening with Tottenham at the moment, is a result of an ownership that have kind of sleptwalked into this situation by just kind of getting away with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard you speak, Paul, a number of times about this, and it's sort of that question of the salary. Is that the point at which, you know, is that the problem in terms of the barrier to getting the best players to Spurs, and has that been the difficulty? I don't know. I mean, they've spent a lot of money, and I can never sort of say hand on heart whether or not it was the players, the managers, the broader culture. You know, we go on. We used to blame Levy, but he's gone. So we're sort of now looking at the new CEO and trying to sort of work out what's going on. It's quite a difficult conundrum, I think.
It's wages, isn't it? I mean, if you look at
exactly.
at Semenya, all right, obviously City were quite an attractive proposition, but you can almost guarantee that they were going to offer him more than Spurs.
That goes back to Sadio Mane. It goes back to lots of players that probably the agent spat his tea out when he found out what was on offer and the nature of the deal. I mean, it's been a problem for Tottenham for a long time. Just one final one. When you spoke to Ryan Norris, they talked about the naming rights. You asked him about the naming rights of the stadium. There was always this talk, this brand new stadium, and they were going to get a big blue chip sponsor. But they've kind of decided that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because they've got gigs all around the world in American football, they claim it's kind of growing the brand, and they think that's worth more to them having an airline or whatever on the side of it.
I think I'd say that too if I hadn't signed a sponsor. I think they've been trying to sort of get that sponsorship away. And again, talking about the previous regime, I think the market, people who work in the market on a day-to-day basis, they wanted 25 million. And then the closest they got was 14 or 15. So Allianz looked at Spurs, they looked at West Ham, went to Twickenham, and they're paying between 5 and 6 million a year for the title rights of that. So they were just outpricing the marketplace. And, I think there's some mileage in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium being famous around the world. And, but that's not that wasn't the dream scenario that they were going in for.
Well, Richard, good to talk to you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers.
Richard Gillis there, the host of the Unofficial Partner podcast. You can fresh ones drop in all the time. Really interested in the sports marketing world, and it's growing all the time.
Chelsea haven't had a sponsor, front of shirt sponsor.
No, you haven't, have you?
No. And we don't get it because apparently they're holding out for a certain amount, but the longer they hold out,
well, it's just like Richard said.
It's a really strange idea. Now
it's a shrinking market. Yeah. But we can read Matlaw's piece in the Telegraph that outlines those issues. We're going to talk about Timothy Chalamet next. Hollywood superstar, played a bit of football. I mean, a while back he wore a football shirt and it went viral, went mad. Was it a St Etienne shirt? Wasn't it? Yeah, that's his team. And suddenly they sold out. But we're going to look at his football history as a player and a fan with Tom Burrows, who's written a deep dive into his football career in The Athletic. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
I see Liverpool qualifying for the Champions League. I also see them going on a competitive run in the Champions League itself. And I think Arne Slot will be at Liverpool starting next season, and he should be, I think.
They say, his agent says, look, he's moved away from coaching now, and he said to be very happy with his new role and environment. The only jobs I think would tempt him back into management are of the German national team or the English national
I don't
team.
disagree.
They're the two that I could see him
absolutely
coming back for.
Yeah.
I mean, Real Madrid, PSG. I mean, the Real Madrid's a big challenge for anybody, isn't it? And getting those kind of Galactico signings to do the running required, the heavy metal football. I think it would be a lot. And I know Klopp wasn't always the biggest fan of some of the media in the UK. The media around Real Madrid is
phenomenal.
Is insane. Yeah, it would.
Well, why would you risk your reputation in a job that is littered with the sort of carcasses of those who've gone before?
Yeah. And I guess, considering he was a direct rival of Pep Guardiola for several years, will he feel like maybe he should have more league titles, more Champions League titles? Because he
probably feels he should have more titles.
Would he like maybe for that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But I mean, you've got to say, two of the best title races we've seen in years, they took Man City all the way, didn't they? I mean, and you could argue just a little bit unfortunate.
We end today talking about Timothée Chalamet, the Hollywood actor. He threw himself into Mighty Supreme and became a very, very good... We spoke to one of the professional table tennis players who worked on the movie with him and said he became a really good player. He put the hours, and he clearly put the hours in to play Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe his next movie is going to be a football movie because he's got the moves. He played in the States... And he also played over in France when he was visiting his grandparents. He's a St Etienne fan. He was part of the unveiling of one of their new kits a little while ago that went viral and sold out. And they even signed a Lyon shirt when he was ambushed and wrote "Down with Lyon" on it as they're a big rival. We know all of this because Tom Burrows has written Timothée Chalamet, The Soccer Years for The Athletic, and he joins us now. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Paul. Hello, Andy. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. A really interesting piece. I mean, he is a proper, not just a proper football fan, but played a lot. Old teammate of his you caught up with plays for Nashville in MLS now, and even he talked up his skills as a young player.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because I think this story sort of captured people's imagination at the end of last year when a photo went viral of him playing against Joe Gomez when Gomez was at Charlton as a young boy, obviously now at Liverpool. And he just made us think, what was Chalamet's sort of football career like? Because obviously he was playing at the time. And as you said, spoke to a couple of his teammates, one of whom is now a professional football player for Nashville in the States. So he just got a bit more of an idea about Chalamet, the footballer, before the actor.
Yeah. I mean, some of his old coaches as well, talking about... It's interesting he was a goalkeeper, and I think quite a few of the listeners will relate to this, that it was a good goalkeeper, but the goals got bigger and he didn't.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of classic story from youth football, isn't it? When boys play in various positions, he was sort of started out in goal and then moved to be playing midfield a bit later on. When the goals got too big, as some of his teammates said, one of his problems was he was quite short, so he started getting lobbed quite a lot. So he thought it would be a bit safer out pitch, so he moved to sort of playing left midfield.
A lot of actors are quite short in stature, aren't they? I mean, it's not uncommon, I don't think.
Is that
I don't
right?
know how tall he is.
As a rule of thumb?
Well, I think you'll find
he's 4'6", Andy.
How tall is he now? Do we know?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen his pen pics, have we? I don't know how tall he is now. That's a very.
I wasn't included in the piece, Andy. Sorry about that.
Sorry, tail of the tape.
5'10", the producer's done. He's a super fan. Obviously, he's going to be his next mastermind subject. Yeah, I mean, so
it's a long time since goalkeepers were 5'10", like in the late 50s.
I say it was so exhaustive. Your piece. He talked about being a kid when he was going over to France to see his grandparents and chasing the St Etienne coach down the road on his bike. And he mentioned Dimitri Payet, all the West Ham fans will know, Gomez, who was playing there then, Bafétimbi Gomez, and you tracked him down. He was quite chuffed that he got a name check, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was quite surreal speaking to Bafétimbi Gomez about Chalamet. But yeah, he was quite touched by that because in a previous interview, Chalamet had mentioned that he, as you just mentioned there, idolised Gomez and Dimitri Payet, Matuidi. They had quite a few players there at St Etienne at the time. And yeah, Gomez said very touched to have been mentioned by Chalamet, would be very up for meeting him at some point. And yeah, spoke about the sort of years that he'd had at St Etienne. It was a successful time in the club's history. They won a promotion and got back into Europe.
I wonder who the footballer is he could play. I mean, because as I said, he's proved that he does throw himself into a role. Bob Dylan, Mighty Supreme, and all that. I wonder. I'm trying to think who. I mean, somebody Platini with that hair. He could do the Michel.
Work.
I mean, then he could put a bit of timber on the FIFA blazer and do those dark later years, couldn't he, Tom? Yeah, just go a bit like Robert De Niro. Go a bit. Yeah.
I wonder if he'll get into ownership like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He's going to make quite a lot of money.
St Etienne, they're out. They're not in the top table. They're not on the top table at the moment. I think there was a piece in your piece saying that he just wants them back in the top league. So maybe he's the man to pump some money in.
Yeah, well, they're third in Ligue 2 at the moment. So, and he said in previous interviews as well, the year will be complete only if St Etienne get promoted back to Liga. But yeah, you can tell he really does support the club. He's very fond of them. He's got that insider knowledge that suggests he's a keener fan than one might think. He knows the players. He definitely has followed them. So yeah, it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, and it seems from his old teammates and people that you've spoken to, coaches, that he's not become big time, and he's still pretty approachable and a good lad, and the sort of kid they still remember, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, he definitely seems someone who sort of kept his humility. A lot of his teammates spoke about that, and then also they mentioned that they did see this acting side of him. He was a big personality. They spoke about before matches and away days, he would be performing in the hotels on the night before the game, having everyone in stitches. So he's obviously always had that magnetic personality, that easy charm.
And some great old pictures as well. You got a picture of him with all the boys are in their red shirts and their red tracksuits, apart from him sort of lying down. Looks like he's sulking over something in the picture. So you got some snaps from some of the people that you spoke to.
Yeah, spoke to his former coach, who was great. I mean, obviously they had a good team at the time, because they had as I said in the piece, his best friend at the time, Alex Mule, is now a professional. So he was obviously the standout player. But when they played Charlton in the pre-season match, it was obviously a bit trickier, because Charlton were a step above what they were used to playing against.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, it's a really good piece. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for joining us.
Absolute pleasure. Cheers, Paul. Cheers, Andy.
Tom Barrow's there from The Athletic, and you can read his piece on Timothy Chalamet, The Soccer Years, and it's on The Athletic now. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, and that is us for another day. We'll catch up with you on Thursday. Coming up next with another busy drive time show, building up all the live football tonight in Europe and in the EFL. It's going to be Andy Goldstein and Gabby Agbonlahor's alongside him this afternoon with Drive.
Let's go to Joey, who's a Spurs fan. All right, Joe?
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, Joe. Igor Tudor, I've been waiting to get a Spurs fans on. What do you reckon?
I'm a bit concerned. Like, look, if he does the job, he does the job. But he likes to play his three at the back with the wing backs. My problem is we haven't got enough centre backs to play at the back in the first place. So I think, he knows what he's walking into, but I think once he's there and seen it, I think he's going to be a very frustrated man. But I wish him all the best. I hope he gets out of his trouble. Look, I spoke to you last Tuesday about the situation after the Newcastle game, and look.
The problem he's got though, Joe, he hasn't got time, right? He hasn't got time to figure out what his best team.